Hello, everybody. I tried to get on. I'm trying to figure out my lighting so my lighting doesn't look like so horrible. I'm trying to get the lighting correct. Let's see if this looks better. Yeah, that's a little better. At least I can sort of see. I look really washed out, but that's okay. That's okay. Hello, Sarah. We are waiting for. Oh, there's already 33 of you guys here. Hi, Finny. Here he is. He's here. Let me invite you. So, Turtleboy, you just got the invite. Hi, Patty. Hi, Trolling. So you just got to accept that invite, Turtleboy, please. Yes, show us some love, you guys. If you want to show us some love so we can get some more people in here, please. That would be awesome. So, Turtleboy, you just have to go to the bottom and accept. Oh, there's Boundless. You going to come on too? Boundless, you need to come on, buddy. I know you're watching. I just saw you there. Hey, Nick, can you moderate for me, Nick?
Oh,
Nick,
I do.
more moderators, please. Turtleboy, you there? Hi.
Yeah, I think I'm here. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you? I just want to make sure that I have all my moderators here. I saw Boundless is watching. I've invited him to join up to talk to us, so he's here.
Oh, the guy that took the prosecution position, that guy?
Stop it. The other, yeah, I don't.
Yeah. I know. I saw him on TikTok.
Okay.
He doesn't
Yeah.
He doesn't want to talk about this. That's too bad.
No, and I have a lot of people on here who were wanting him to talk for sure.
Yeah, I mean, he talks about the case a lot. And
he does. He does.
He first got our attention because he was using my content, like not just, like my thoughts on here, like me actually filming these people in public, and he was using the attribution. So we said, we left a comment, and at the time he seemed to be on the Karen side, which to me is the common sense side.
You're absolutely right. I saw that at first. You're absolutely right.
And then when we commented and we're like, hey, can you maybe cite us if you're going to use our content without attribution, then suddenly he decided that she's actually guilty. So I'm not sure he's exactly the kind of person that has principles or anything like that or stands for anything. So I'm not really sure what he would add, but I'd be happy to discuss with him.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to have him, listen, like I said before, I mean, I talked about the case a little bit, not much, because there is so much to this case, and I want to make sure I get it right. And y'all have been doing amazing telling the story. And I have watched his too, because I used to, as you were a reporter too, weren't you? Did I read you used to be a reporter?
I am a reporter. I mean,
do you work for, well, that's true, but do you work for anyone besides yourself right now?
I'll never work for anyone. I built my own media company.
I love that. Good for you. Congratulations. Well, when I was a reporter for CBS, it was you had to tell right down the road stories, right? That was brainwashed in my head. So that's why I was I'd love to hear his side of the story too, and we know he's watching. I had a lot of people tag him today on things. Award-winning journalist. I love that. So you have a lot of people in here watching for you. So that's awesome. We've all tagged him and said, come up into the box, Boundless. We know you're watching. And it would be.
Is he watching? Is he in the chat?
He was in the chat. Yeah, he joined. He's here for sure.
Man, jump on up. But we don't bite. We just want to talk. You talk about the case a lot. So let's talk about it.
And he does. He has 20,000 people. He's got a big following. So it would be great for him to be up here to kind of, I agree. Hear the side that he feels so strongly in. Boston Strong. I ran the Boston Marathon the year after the bombing, by the way. I just saw someone put. Here he is. Oh. Come on, Boundless. I see you. I've invited you. Come on up. I see you here. So, another minute.
Oh, cool. Sweet.
All right.
It's a party.
It is a party. I don't even know either of your guys' real names.
My name's Aiden, by the way.
Aiden.
Yeah.
Boundless.
Hey.
What's your real name?
Matt.
Dave. Oh, Matt.
Matt.
Oh, that's right.
All right, Matt and Aiden, we have it here. Okay, first of all, thank you, Matt, for joining. We tagged you a lot today in all of our posts and whatnot. Aiden and I have been talking about doing this for, 2 weeks. And Aiden, thank you as well. I know that I really appreciate you jumping on and doing this.
I always said I'm not going to be a TikToker, but everyone's on here, so I might as well just make some TikToks. I'm not dancing though. I'll never dance.
You don't have to dance anymore. Yeah. Although I think that Nick, I'm sorry, your name's Nick. I'm so bad with names. I'm just going to call you Boundless.
Matt.
I've seen you dance a little bit, move around a little bit. So you definitely have creative videos. There's no doubt about that, without a doubt. So here's what we're going to do. We have quite a few people watching right now. I want to hear an overview of the Karen Reed case. That's what I've been calling it. So, Turtleboy, Aiden, I'm going to start. I'm going to have you do it just because you've been so close to the case since the beginning. And then we're just going to get into a discussion, maybe a debate. I don't know, but it'll be, it'll be relatively easy, I have a feeling. So it'll be great. So, Aiden, if you want to just start and talk about the Karen Reed case, like maybe from the beginning.
All right, sure. On January 29th, 2022, Karen Reed, I think she was a 41-year-old woman at the time, with a boyfriend by the name of John O'Keefe, who was a Boston police officer. They went out to a bar called C.F. McCarthy's, met up with some friends who they knew through their kids, basically, and they went to this bar called The Waterfall, and then that closed at midnight, and they went back to this house they were invited to this after party at 30, which is a home owned by another police officer from Boston named Brian Albert. Now, Brian and John, despite both being on the Boston Police Department, barely knew each other. They'd met a couple times, but they were definitely not like friends or anything like that. And a woman by the name of Jennifer McCabe is the one who invited John over. Jennifer McCabe is the sister-in-law of Brian Albert. So she is sisters with Brian's wife, Nicole. And Karen, it was like, I don't know, these people are in their 40s. I don't go to after parties. I go to bed. And
Join the club.
Yeah, so like that's Karen Reed's kind of like the same as me. She's like, yeah, okay, John. Like John was like, oh, I really want to go there, just hang out with them, meet them. He didn't really know them all that well, but I don't know if he was just trying to like be friendly or something, but she didn't want to go, he did. So she dropped him off and went home. And she expected to hear from him within like an hour or two, but never did. And so she woke up in the middle of the night, like, where's John? And makes a phone call at 4:53 to Jennifer McCabe, who says, I don't know where he is. And so she goes out looking for him. She meets up with Jennifer McCabe and another woman by the name of Carrie Roberts. And the three of them eventually drive to 34 Fairview Road, where Karen notices John's body at 6 a.m. lying on the front lawn. There was about an inch or two of snow at the time, and freaks out, gets out of the car. The other two claim that they don't notice him there, even though there's no obstructions or anything. Starts performing CPR on him. He's pronounced dead less than 2 hours later. And at no point during this whole time, with multiple first responders in the yard, probably a dog barking too, does Brian Albert or Nicole Albert come out of the house. They just don't come out of the house. Despite the fact that a body is found on the front lawn of the house, police don't follow the normal protocol they have and search, secure the crime scene. They find, the only evidence they find at the scene of the crime, the Canton police find, are, what did they find? Six droplets of blood, which they put in red Solo cups, and a broken cocktail glass. They did not find, he was also missing a shoe. Now, if you found a body on a front lawn with only one shoe on, you'd probably assume the other shoe is inside. You'd ask to look around at the very least. They don't find that suspect. There was no taillights, though. There's absolutely no taillight fragments when they first found the scene at 6 o'clock. So, Karen...
Can I interrupt real quick, though, just before I forget? Yeah. I will say that everything I've read said there was a taillight right there where he was found.
It was not. We've published, it's all public record, the police reports, the Canton Police Department, Officers Saraf and Mullaney, and then their Lieutenants Gallagher, Good, and Lank. I know because I went and tried to speak with them today. I have more audio video on that coming out today. But not one of them reported seeing any taillight in their reports. Not one of them. There was no taillight there. And keep in mind, only an inch or two of snow had fallen. Now, Karen's freaking out, and Jennifer has put it in her head the whole time when they were driving over there, saying, could you have hit him, Harry? Could you have hit him? And she's like, did I hit him? Did I hit him? She didn't know what was going on. And she's freaking out. She's experiencing trauma. And so people at the scene hear her say, oh my God, did I hit him? Did I hit him? Did I hit him? Because who would ever think that this man, who, by the way, had his eyes completely blown out, if you guys have seen these autopsy photos, he had a gigantic gash in the back of his head. And oh yeah, he had clear, what appeared to be scratch marks and bite marks on his right forearm exclusively. There was no bruising anywhere else on his body, particularly in his torso or his midsection. There were no broken bones there. There was, however, black and blues all over his right hand. And hit somebody the wrong way, you know, that's what happens when you punch somebody in the face and it doesn't go right. So they find John like that, and for some reason they immediately they don't even think that this guy's beaten. Karen's freaking out about it. She gets sectioned involuntarily to go to the hospital, and while that's happening, there's this meeting going on, and they call in the state police, take over the investigation, and the lead investigator is a guy who lives in Canton. His name is Michael Proctor. And Michael Proctor failed to disclose that he has been a close family friend of the Alberts and the McCabe's for 2 decades, at least. He has known them for a long time, almost 25 years, actually. He has known them. Fails to mention this whatsoever. Does not follow any protocol. He brings the McCabe's and the Alberts. Doesn't go in the house, doesn't interview him there, doesn't bring him back to the station. Brings him to the McCabe's house, where they have what we call the friends and family meeting. And the 4 of them sit as a group. He does not separate them and ask them questions differently. They all get to sit in a group, and they have like a general discussion about what happened. And they all start blaming it on Karen. And their stories are completely inconsistent. For instance, Matt McCabe says that he looked outside and he saw a V-shaped, inverted V-shaped thing and tire marks in the road. But if you were to see tire marks in the road, would you not see a body directly in front of that? If you're close enough to see the tire marks in the road, how can you not see the 217-pound body that's also right in front of the tire marks? He doesn't mention anything about that. Now, there was at least 9 or 10 people in that house, at least. Not one of them, not a single one of them, when they left that house within an hour or two, reported seeing a body on the front lawn. We have since interviewed the plow driver by the name of Brian. Specifically told me in no unclear terms that he plowed that road at 2:30. And not only was there no body on the front lawn, he said it with affirmation, there was no body on that front lawn. We specifically asked, in your experience, would you have seen a body on the front lawn? It was 12 feet from the curb. Would you have seen that? And he said, absolutely. Especially because it was right near a fire hydrant, and plow drivers are trained to make sure that they don't, especially around fire hydrants and stuff like that, that they don't plow them in. And so he's like, I would have been on the lookout for that. I go extremely slowly. So he does his plow through at 2:30. He comes back about an hour later, and he's about to go down the road and do another plow again. And he notices he can't do it because there's a Ford Edge sitting in front of the house in the exact spot where John's body is later located. Brian Albert drives a Ford Edge. Now, Lucky told me that he doesn't think it was Brian Albert's Ford Edge, but it narrows the population down to about less than 1% of the people who actually own a Ford Edge. So he was sitting there at 3:30 in the morning, acting as some sort of obstruction from the ring cameras. Now, at no point does Proctor even attempt to ask any of the neighbors for any ring cameras or anything like that. They claim that Karen Reed drove out of there after hitting John in reverse, causing all that damage, going however many miles per hour. Somehow just that killed him, and he ended up with a cut in the back of his head and dog scratches on his arm, etc. Now, the taillight. Well, taillight, the state police did a search of the scene later on. They did a search at 5:45 p.m., the CERT team. And that was led by Michael Proctor. Michael Proctor claims in his official report that he went to Karen Reed's house in a town called, Karen Reed's parents' house, where she had gone, in a town called, which is about 5 minutes away from Canton, in the snow. And he went down there, and he says he got there at 4:30, and that he had the car towed at 5:30. And the CERT team does their search at 5:45. That would mean, if that was true, that he could not have possibly gotten the car back to Canton for 5:45. However, Alarm.com camera footage from the Reed household shows the car being towed not at 5:30 p.m. like Proctor claimed, but at 4:12 p.m. And that gives him 1 hour and 18 minutes unaccounted for with the car. Now, keep in mind, the state police have taken over the investigation this time. So the appropriate place for him to bring evidence like that, the essential murder weapon they're saying, would be to bring it to the state police barracks in Middleborough, which is the closest one. But instead of bringing it there, they bring it to the Canton Police Department, who is no longer in charge of the investigation. It just so happens that the Canton Police Department is close to 34 Fairview Road. And magically, this time around, in their second search, the state police not only find John's missing shoe, a foot of snow has fallen, but they find the missing shoe that the Canton Police Department just completely missed. They just missed it. They missed a gigantic man's shoe. Oh, there it is, on top of a foot of snow. They also found multiple pieces of Karen's taillight, which were, get this, not beneath the snow, on top of the snow. Because I don't know if you know this, taillights have a tendency to rise like they're, that they can, like things that float in water. It rose to the top, and it was on top of the snowbank, and boom, they found it. So apparently, the Canton Police Department missed all of this because they would have us believe that they are the most incompetent organization in the history of mankind. But I don't believe the Canton Police Department is that inept. For a close family friend of the Alberts who did not follow any protocol in this case that he normally would, lied about what time he took that car from Karen Reed's household, and brought it to the Canton Police Department, which has nothing to do with this. I find it much more likable that Michael Proctor put that taillight there, and that is what the defense is alleging that he did.
So Dr. Turtleboy, I'm sorry. I feel like that's a really good overview, and a lot of people have been commenting that it's a really good overview. I want to give Boundless a little bit of chance too, just to kind of start off what his, unless there's anything else major you feel like you didn't get a chance to say in regards to the overview before we get into some questions.
I think, I'm sure there's plenty I missed, but I'll come back to it.
Okay.
Let someone else.
Thank you. Yeah. I think that was a really good overview. So Boundless feels and I think Doctor said at the beginning, Dr. Turtleboy, at the beginning, because I watched your videos, you thought Karen Reed also was innocent. Right?
Did.
You did a video like
Google search.
And so
Google search. That's the one thing I forgot.
What'd you say? I'm sorry. Oh, yeah.
Please say a really big piece. Sorry.
Yeah.
So at 2:27 a.m., it was discovered about a year later when Jennifer McCabe handed over her phone that she had Googled how long to die in cold at 2:27 a.m., which is a bizarre thing to Google if you believe that this man has just not come to the party, that he never went in the house. He probably went home. He didn't answer his phone. Why would she search how long to die in cold at that time? So.
Yeah, that is a very, very valid point. And that is what has made me, I'll be honest, that's like hey, Junior, that's like the one thing that I can't not get over at all. So Boundless, again, like I said, you at first were thinking, like that Karen was innocent. What made you change? And let's talk a little bit about what your thoughts are in regards to why Karen is, in your mind, guilty.
So I think originally, I pulled and the taillight being found, and like a piece of the taillight, I think you didn't mention, was found a few weeks later. But I think overall, just like reading through the documents and her waking up his kids at his daughter at 4:30 in the morning, and just in a panic saying, "Call your father," and he's not answering. And then she starts calling all these people saying, "I think he's dead." Like, why would you think that? So just like the way that she was saying a lot of the stuff, like he must have got hit by a plow, like before she even left the house.
Yes,
and then her taillight was smashed out. She didn't know how it was broken. She mentioned that to people. And so like when she leaves the driveway, you see her like come close to his car or maybe hit it. Like the defense is saying she hit it and that's why she broke her taillight. But I mean, if she hit it, it was like a tap and like her bulb was gone. So like it definitely wasn't from that. So I don't know. I just think that whole thing is just, and like how would she even know that it was broken at that point? Because she said it to people when she got there and she was saying it like that morning. So like when did you check her taillight? Because you wouldn't check it just randomly, right? Like unless you hit something, especially if it's snowing out and it's freezing. Like why would you like walk around your car and look at the back unless you knew you hit something? And so his daughter said she changed her story multiple times. The first thing she said was The last time I saw him was at the bar. And then Jen McCabe was like, she was on the phone with Jen McCabe. And Jen McCabe was like, no, I saw your car in front of the house. And then she said, oh, we got in an argument and I dropped him off. So that was like his daughter's testimony. So I don't think she's like part of the cover up. I think she would want the person held accountable that killed her uncle, her father. It's her uncle, but he was raising her. So it's kind of like her father. Both of her parents had died. So I don't think that she would go after someone like in the house with them. And so I think that morning she was hysterical, kind of saying a lot of things to a lot of people. And I think all those statements are kind of, the big thing. That's why nobody questioned anything, because she was saying I hit him to first responders, to the people that she was with. Just a lot of people heard her say that. So like nobody really questioned what happened, because, he was on the side of the road. And like they found the taillight later, but it had been snowing, and I don't think the Canton Police Department had shoveled. So like the CERT team came back with shovels.
Nope.
The CERT team, they have a video of the CERT team with shovels digging out the snowbanks, because when you plow, the plow
Don't
just takes
shovel 1
everything.
inch of snow. There was 1 inch of snow when
Do you want to let him finish real quick?
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah,
Well,
he hasn't had a chance to speak. Sorry. Go ahead.
The plows had come by, so even if it's 1 inch of snow, the plows are going to take whatever's in the street and push it all over the place and push it into snowbanks. So it's not like whatever happened would be right where it was left. The plows push things down the street. So like there were snowbanks at that point. So, I mean, the plow definitely came and pushed. That's why a shoe was in the snowbank as well. So they came back and they were shoveling. They found the taillight, they found the shoe. So, and I think another thing that's kind of like really suspicious on Karen Reed's part is she was always at that house, and she went back to the house that day after, she got sectioned and was acting crazy, and she blew a .08. So she was still drunk from the night before, and then she's on video the night before drinking 7 vodkas in like an hour and a half. It's all in the probable cause. And so the family was even like, she was acting weird. The family was like, I don't know. She has her father come from Dighton and pick up the murder weapon and drive it back to his house. It's like, if he really, I mean, why would he take her car? Like, why wouldn't he just pick her up? So he takes the car, with the damage on it, and takes it all the way to Dighton. And a little suspicious. Like, he would have just picked her up. Mm-hmm. And so then later on that day, so like earlier in the day, she only said she blacked out. She didn't see him. She told a few people she doesn't even remember going to that house that night. And then she changed it to they got in an argument. And then once she had time to talk to her father, then she came up with, she did a 3-point turn. So then that was a statement that she gave at that point. And so that was the statement at that point in time. And then I think she wasn't caught on the camera that she would have had to have been caught on. So they were caught on a bunch of CCTV footage. She wasn't caught on the camera that she should have been caught on if she did do a 3-point turn. So then she changed it and said that she did see him go in the house. Now she's saying she did see him go in the house. The first statement came out, she said she never saw him go in the house. Now she says she did. There's just a lot of things. Even
So it seems like a lot of what you're saying is like so you're saying it was in the affidavit, because some of the things you're saying is like, she said, I heard that that this person said this. So
this is all from the affidavit.
Everything you said is from the affidavit.
Oh, a lot of it's just made up. Not a lot of that's just completely untrue.
That's all comes from Proctor.
You're confused
from the statement. So,
for instance, Karen Reed never said she did a 3-point turn. That's just untrue.
Well, it's in the affidavit that she
Michael
said that.
Michael Proctor said that Karen Reed said she did.
I know everyone in the country is lying except for her.
Yeah, Michael Proctor. Do you think Michael Proctor is an honest person?
I mean, why not?
Can you explain
let's talk about Michael
Can you
Proctor.
explain really quickly who Michael Proctor is? A lot of people don't even know this case.
Michael Proctor is the investigative detective from the state police who never revealed that he is a close family friend of everyone who's basically was in that house that night.
I don't think he's a close family friend. I don't think
you don't? Really? I know that that he is a close family friend. This is undeniable because his sister is his sister got married in 2012. We have their wedding photo. Who was in that wedding? Do you know? Do you know who the ring bearer was in that wedding? His name is
Who was
Colin
it?
Albert. He's the prime. He would otherwise be the prime suspect in this because he was inside that house and he had bloody knuckles weeks later and a black eye. We have pictures of him. He was not even questioned by Michael Proctor. The involvement of Colin Albert in this at all should have automatically gotten Michael Proctor to say, I cannot be involved in this. I have too close ties to these families. It's undeniable his relation to them. We have images from 2017 of Trooper Proctor in uniform with an image with Jennifer McCabe's two youngest daughters in the picture with him. It's undeniable that he knows these people extremely well. The mere fact that he did not disqualify himself from this is dishonest in and of itself. That's number one. Number two, we know as a matter of fact, it is undeniable that Trooper Proctor lied about what time that car was towed from the home in Dighton. Michael Proctor claims that that car was towed at 5:30. We have video footage, undeniable video footage of that car being towed at 4:12
But
p.m.
even with all that, she hit something, right? Something broke her taillight and she doesn't know.
She barely cracked the taillight. When you see her
The
pull
bulb
out
is
of the
gone
house,
when she's leaving the driveway, so it's shattered.
is what?
The bulb is not lit up when she's leaving. It's not just cracked, it's
You ever
shattered.
seen you know what a Lexus taillight does when it crashes, when it hits something like that? It inverts. You can see in that taillight that there was one small part that is not lit up. She had backed into John's car. It clearly moved. It's undeniable that the car moved.
Yeah, but that wouldn't take the bulb out.
As soon as she let go, as soon as she hit brake, that bulb lit up. It was
The brake
perfect.
lights are still working, but the taillight
Right.
was out.
Right. So clearly it was not that damaged. Clearly it was not that damaged. But yet later on, gigantic chunks of taillight magically appear at the scene. And now we have a video of the car. The light is completely gone. Every single bulb, everything's gone from it within a couple months. It's just all gone. And it was all under Michael Proctor's watch, the man who never revealed that he's close family friends of several of the people who were inside that house who would otherwise be considered prime suspects, including the woman who Googled how long to die in cold at 2:27. Michael Proctor lied about what time he towed that car from her house, giving him 1 hour and 18 minutes alone with said car. And additionally, just to show how dishonest Michael Proctor is, on his official report, in one paragraph alone, he misspelled the names of 5 witnesses wrong. 5 people who were in the house that night, including Caitlin Albert, the daughter of Brian Albert. He misspelled her name wrong. He misspelled the name Catherine Duty wrong, even though her father was the chief of the fire department and is now the town administrator, and he has his last name on yard signs. That's how common the Duty name is in Canton. Sarah Levinson's name was spelled wrong. Emily Fabiano's name was spelled wrong. There was and Julie Nagel's name were all spelled wrong. This was clear. Like, ask any police officer who does this. They do not spell names wrong in reports like that. If you screw up once, that's a big no-no. If every single name in the whole report is spelled wrong, that is not an accident. That is deception. Lastly, we know Michael Proctor lied because when I spoke with Lucky Loughran, the man who plowed that yard, and reported that there was absolutely 100% no body on that front lawn. In Michael Proctor's plowed that road. That there was no. He's never. I asked Lucky Loughran, "Have you ever spoken to Michael Proctor? You're the prime witness for this." No, he said. Again, would you talk to Michael Proctor if he spoke to you? Absolutely, but he never reached out to the only man who could actually say that there was no body on that front lawn, and he lied in his report because he said that the GPS in the truck was down.
Okay,
But
so
I mean,
let me
nobody
just
really saw the body on the front lawn except for Karen Reed because she knew
No.
exactly where it was.
Incorrect. That's
Like
just a lie.
nobody saw it.
Lucky Loughran saw it.
Yeah, but nobody saw it in the morning. Like nobody saw the
At
body.
2:30 in the morning, Lucky Loughran saw it.
He saw the body?
Yes, he saw the body.
So why wasn't an ambulance called then if he saw a body at 2:30 in
No,
the
I
morning?
apologize. He apologized. He did not see a body. I misquoted.
Oh.
He did not. There was no body on the lawn at 2:30 a.m. Sorry about that. No body on the lawn at 2:30 a.m. So what does that tell you?
They weren't there yet. I mean, if you say
It means Karen Reed didn't kill him.
I mean, I feel like he probably could have not seen it though. I mean, a
he
lot of
was
people.
He's
A lot of people
it's,
didn't see the body though. Like when she got there
so
in
you
the
feel
morning.
you're telling sworn testimony from the plow driver is just wrong. That's your assertion?
I mean, is that sworn testimony?
Yes, he signed an affidavit.
So I want to ask this though, because a lot of people are saying that there's actually missing footage from that night. What do you,
Yeah.
Boundless, I'm going to start with you on that. Do you know about that? Can you speak to that?
So I think it's strange that they're only worried about that footage. So like I guess there was a bunch of footage that she was caught they were caught on when they were driving there. And then in the morning she was caught driving back to the house before she picked up the other two people to find the body. So she kind of like scoped out, was like, yeah, his body's still there, and then she picked up the other two. So like she's caught on all those cameras, but then when she was leaving the house, she's not caught on. But actual footage that's missing from when she left, but I don't think I think it's too early for when she would have left because his phone didn't stop moving until 12:31. So I don't know. Like I
You seem to
don't
be
think
confused. You seem to be confused. So let me tool you in on this. So the Canton Library is in the middle of town, and they have a perfect view. Karen Reed dropped John off at 12:20, stuck around there for 10 minutes. He was supposed to text her back, never did. So she just goes home. And on her way home, she went by hundreds of houses that have Ring cameras. How do I know that? Because I knocked on their doors and I said, was your Ring camera working that night? And did Michael Proctor or anyone from the state police come and ask you for them? All of them definitively said, no, that never happened. They never asked me. Because if she had just hit him and broken her taillight, there would be ample amounts of video showing Karen Reed evading the scene of the crime, fleeing the scene of the crime with the broken taillight. The Canton Library would also have been on her path home. And the Canton Library, the video was working all night and all the next day. The only time it malfunctioned, and there was just no video, was between 12:37 a.m. and 12:39 a.m., which happens to be the exact same time that Karen Reed drove by the Canton Library. It's quite the coincidence that it just magically stopped working when Karen Reed drove by, and it would have shown without a doubt that her taillight was either broken or not broken. And it just wasn't working. And of course, who's the one that told us it wasn't working? Michael Proctor, the man who has lied about everything in this, not disclosed anything, not disclosed any family relationships or anything like that. And there's a lot of that going on in this case. Things that, could exonerate Karen Reed just disappear. Well, I guess we're supposed to think that's normal.
Miss, what are your thoughts on that? I know you spoke a little bit. I mean, it sounds like to me a little bit videos from the library.
so. Yeah, for sure. But her defense team says stuff like this all the time. Like I don't for any. At first, when they were saying dog bites, like I did
I
think
want to
that
talk
until I
about
started
that.
looking at
Yes, go
it,
ahead.
and I was like, "There's no way that's dog." They say a lot of bullshit.
Let's talk about the
So
library
like,
video.
so the library video, like, if that is the only minutes that are missing, then yes, that's strange. But I don't know. I don't even think that would be the time that she was passing.
It was. Because they have the
Like,
time. They have it before that, and they have it
yeah,
after that. And
yeah,
there's
but we
no
don't
Karen
know.
Reed before or after.
Yeah,
And
but
she
she
had to
might not
go
have been.
there because that's
If
the
she
only way
did run
home.
him over, she might not have went to his house right away, right? She might have went home, and then
They
she's
got her
like,
at home on the Ring camera footage at 12:41. It's undeniable that she went by there at that
they don't have
exact
her on
time.
the ring camera footage. She deleted that.
No, they have that. She did not delete anything. What is your evidence that she deleted Ring camera
It
footage?
says it in the affidavit.
It doesn't say that in the affidavit.
They asked the kids who has access to the ring cam because the ring cam's missing, and they said Karen does for the main computer.
And did the kid say that Karen deleted it?
Well, no, but they're asking who has access to it.
Yeah,
Only
you know who
Karen
also
had
had
access to it.
The state police also had access to it.
Okay, so I mean, that does seem, if it is, she could she have gone a different way? Is there any other explanation to that her not, her
I mean,
not,
I would think if she was really fighting with him, why would she go back to his house? If she just ran him over, I feel like she probably
Probably
took
because
off,
she didn't.
and then she started to come back and was
That's a
like,
great
"Oh, he'll
question.
probably be home."
Yes, that's a great question you just
what
asked
about
yourself.
what about the dog bites? Now, I've seen a lot about this with Boundless. You're saying that those are the marks on his arm are from a dog, correct? Is that what your thought? I want to hear.
I don't think they're from a dog.
What do you think they're from?
I mean, I can
Oh,
see
I'm sorry,
like
doctor. You think they're from a dog? I
Oh,
apologize.
I know they're from a dog. They're
Yeah.
definitely-
if they're from Doctor. You feel that they're from Dr. Turtleboy. You feel that they're from a dog.
That's correct.
In Boundless, you're saying no, that's from the car.
I think that I can see motion in the front where like something kind of scraped by, and that's kind of what it would look like. We know the tail light shattered, and he also had a glass that shattered. So like getting hit 25, 30 miles an hour, it's going to be like shrapnel.
25, 30 miles an hour? How do you go that fast in reverse?
Doing if you're drunk and crazy.
How do you do that? How much distance do you need to accelerate to 25 to 30 miles an hour going in reverse in a 3-point turn? How much distance do you need? Have you done the math on that?
I don't think she did a 3-point turn at all.
Oh, so she just drove forward and then
I think she was dropping him. I think they were fighting because he wanted to go there. Maybe he didn't want her to come in. And,
maybe.
And like she was like pissed off and started driving away and then slammed it in reverse.
So let me get this straight. So in order for her to be able to accelerate to that speed, she would have needed to go, what, 50, 100 yards forward, correct? In order to accelerate to 27 miles an hour going back, right?
Probably.
And so we are to assume then, according to your theory, that John O'Keefe she's all mad at him. And so he's like, I'm just going to stand here in the street and allow you to run me over.
Well, his right arm was hit, so it was from behind.
My cocktail glass.
What did the autopsy say? That's a good question, Brett. What did the autopsy say about the marks on his arm?
They said, well, keep in mind, the medical examiner was told when she did the autopsy 3 days later that this man was hit by a car. It is her job then to work backwards and figure out a way to explain that.
So she said that they were from the car then, essentially.
She didn't say what it was from. She said it was blunt force trauma.
And hypothermia.
And hypothermia, correct.
So like that's the thing too, hypothermia. So if they were to plant his body on the lawn, he would have still been alive. So they would have had to kill him in the house and been, oh, we could just plant him on the lawn.
Yeah,
and in the hopes that Karen Reed mysteriously hit something else that night, it just doesn't make any sense.
Doctor, I do have a question.
That's a great point.
What is their motive? The people inside, those 12 people inside the home. What is their motive?
Colin and John were neighbors, and they did not get along. Colin is, I don't know if you've seen the Colin Albert videos. Colin Albert gets in fights a lot. Colin Albert's a punk. Colin Albert threatens people, and he did not like his neighbor, John O'Keefe. He had gotten into issues with him. John basically was a get off my lawn guy because Colin was throwing beer cans on his lawn, and John would come out and yell at him, and Colin say, "Who the fuck you talking to? Like, you're not going to disrespect me like that." And the Alberts are a name in Canton. Nobody messes with the Alberts. And I'm sure Brian didn't appreciate the fact that this new, younger Boston cop is disrespecting his nephew like that. And so John gets in there. We don't know exactly what happened. I don't know exactly how it went down. But John and Colin did not get along. So perhaps John went in there and Colin said something to him, and the two of them got in a fight. And maybe John was winning that fight because, oh yeah, he had bruises all over his arm, all over his hand, indicating that he was punching something.
Well, it was back of his hand, not his knuckles. So like the back of his hand. That's usually when you fall.
Have you ever
or something.
Have you ever been in a fight before like that?
I've never had the back of my hand bruised.
Oh, I have. It looks exactly like that. It's called a boxer's fracture. I punched my best friend in the head about 20 years ago, and I was stuck in a cast for 6 weeks because he had a big, thick head, kind of like Colin Albert did. And so he punched, like, it is very likely that some sort of fight broke out. Now, if a fight breaks out, and John went down swinging, if a fight breaks out in that house, Brian Albert is not, who's Brian Albert going to side with? Colin, his nephew, his blood, or this guy he barely knows, John O'Keefe?
But the thing is, though, is that Jen McCabe was for 8 years. She's just calmly going to already be. She's going to already be. She's going to be planning this out, though.
Like, what is in the affidavit in regards to? And I know, listen, Dr. Turtleboy, I know your whole thought is whatever's. They could have written whatever the hell they wanted in the affidavit because she was framed. So they're going to make, just like you said, with them finding his shoe later and the tail light later. What does the affidavit actually say in regards to the actual accident? No witnesses, right? No witnesses besides Karen. No one heard anything from the outside.
They just saw the car out front and then they started driving away.
Okay.
Nobody saw it driving away either.
I think it
Not a
says,
single person can say they drove. Not a single witness says they saw it driving away, including Ryan Nagel, the witness who pulled up right behind her, and told police that he did not see John. He said that no one was in the car with John, and no one was outside of her car. So John wasn't in the car, and he
but he
wasn't
pulled up right
outside
behind
car.
her, so he
where
would have
was
saw her
John?
get out.
What?
He would have saw her. He would have saw him get out though,
So
because
where? But answer my question. Where was he?
I mean, that was one of the questions that I had too, because like how it's saying he's going up a flight of stairs. I'm like, did she drop him off down the road or something? But like, I don't think so because
So, but we
she
agree he
wouldn't
was
have known.
not. We agree if Karen Reed had hit him with her car, his body would have been directly next to the car.
Boundless, do you agree with that, or think that
I,
he would have moved if it was she hit him so hard, or any
I
thoughts on that?
mean, I feel like he could have crawled a little bit, maybe, but
Then why
like, I
didn't
don't
Ryan
know.
Nagel see the body?
I don't think she hit him at that point when they were still
So
there.
where
When
was
Ryan,
he? So then where was he?
I think he was in the car and they just didn't see him.
But so the witnesses are wrong. So all the witnesses are just wrong.
But like, he pulled up in the.
That's your defense is that the witnesses, the plow driver.
Wait. In the car, pulled up in the car behind her.
Yeah.
And he was picking up his sister at the same house, looking at the door where his sister should come out of, and he didn't see someone get out of Karen Reed's car and walk in that same
But
fucking door.
you're not answering the question. Where
But
was
like
John?
he didn't
Where was
see him get out, so he had to have been in the car.
Oh,
If
so
he
then
didn't see him get out of the
he
car.
testified. All three of them actually say that there was no one in the car with Karen. So where was he? Are they
But
wrong? You're
a
saying that they're
witness,
wrong. Ryan
yeah,
Nagel.
but you're talking about a witness driving by a car at night while it's snowing. Unless they all turn their head around and gawked in the car, you're not going to see
Which
someone in
they
the
said
passenger
they
seat.
did. They said the interior lights were on and that she was sitting at 10 and 2 and
So
that
you
he was
think
alone. So where
so
was
you so you think it's more likely that they missed him in the car than they missed a 6'2", 220-pound guy get out of the car and walk in the fucking house of the house that they're waiting for their friend to come out of? How would they miss that?
I think that.
It's much more likely that they missed him not seeing it sitting in the car.
Okay, so Ryan Nagel's just wrong. So that's your position. Is
I'm just saying, like, think about it logically.
okay?
What
No,
is
I mean
more
you're
likely?
being logical. You're telling me that all the eyewitnesses who tell me that there was no body on that front lawn and that he was not in the car, they're just wrong. That's your defense of your position is that the witnesses are all wrong.
Yeah, but you're talking about they didn't see someone get out of the car, a huge guy get out of the car and walk in the house. The same house that they were waiting for their friend to come out the front door. Like, how would they miss that? They couldn't miss that.
Karen drops him off directly in the driveway. He gets out of the car. Is he going to walk to the door or run?
But their car was directly behind them. He had to let her turn down the street, so they were driving right behind her car. And she was probably driving slow because she didn't know which house it was.
There was what?
And she was probably driving slow as shit because she didn't know which house it was.
So but she was in front. John gets out of the car and he runs to the door. That is what happened. She says that's what she says happened, that he ran to the door.
She says that now.
She said that before.
Originally, she said,
Everything that you're reading, Proctor said. Michael Proctor is a known liar.
Yeah, but even Yannetti came out and was saying this was an accident and all this, like in the beginning.
What happened at the beginning? Could anybody have possibly thought that something so heinous happened? No, that was my initial thought. This is a horrible accident. That was my initial thought. Then I see the autopsy photos and I start to do this wild thing called thinking for myself. Instead of just blindly believing what some corrupt state trooper who lies about everything is telling me. I'm going to do this thing where I think for myself. I recommend
those black eyes are not from getting punched. Those black eyes are from a skull fracture because his eyelids are filled with blood and it's leaking out the side.
Skull fracture. Do skull fractures often happen when you land on grass?
But he was on, wasn't he on the road or snow?
No,
I pulled the affidavit up right now, so I'm going to
12 feet from the curb on the grass.
Or on the mulch.
No, on the grass.
Well,
the mulch is 16 feet from the curb. I've known because I've gone in that lawn and I've lied down on it and we've driven by it.
Okay, let me read what the affidavit says. So I just want to read this to you guys really quick. On January 29th, 2022, approximately 6:04 a.m., the Canton Police Department received a 911 call from a woman reporting a male party, subsequently identified as victim John O'Keefe, found in the snow, so that's all it really says, outside 34 Fairview Road. At the time of the 911 call, there was an active blizzard occurring with heavy snow and the temperature was in the teens. And then it goes on to say that Officer Seraph was the first to arrive on the scene, and that her cruiser camera footage admitted as the grand jury, the footage depicts the weather and visibility conditions during the officers' transit and arrival to the scene, blah, blah, blah. So then she goes and says that 3 females were laying her down, right? Jenna Cave, Carrie Robert, and Reed. And that's when they observed him to be cold to the touch and not breathing. So it doesn't say exactly where he was, but it does say there was,
Oh, it says in the other part. I mean, that you're reading page 1 of like a 20-something page document. He was found 12 feet from the curb, it says.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, no, that's not really everybody. Both parties agree on that he was found 12 feet from the curb on grass. So they are to have us believe that he was hit in reverse, caused no damage, no bruising to his midsection, no bones broken, no pelvis broken, no legs broken, nothing like that. Most people would probably put their arms up if somebody's backing into them. It would probably break their arm.
He was hit from behind, though.
It says that they walked outside with Miss McCabe and observed the victim and defendant to walk out together and proceeded to the left of the driveway and up Washington Street, where the vehicle was parked along the curb facing back towards the waterfall. He indicated that the vehicle was also parked along Washington Street, but further down and facing the opposite direction.
You're talking about when they're at the bar.
Oh, this is from the bar? Okay,
yeah,
I'm sorry.
We'll be here all night if you read that affidavit.
No, I know. I've read it before, but go ahead. Sorry, I'm just trying to find where it says where he was found.
Like, that affidavit is just they have so little facts and evidence that they spend the majority of the charging documents talking about what Karen Reed drank at the bar. Most of that entire charging document, I know everything Karen Reed did at the Waterfall Bar. I don't know much about what happened at 34 Fairview Road because there's hardly anything in there about it.
But why do you think that it got upgraded from manslaughter to murder?
Well, it had to be upgraded from manslaughter to murder because when they tested the car out afterwards, the brakes worked and the rear camera worked. And if you've ever been in a newer car like that, it yells it. It's like, if you get too close to something. It would have been impossible for her to accidentally run him over. So either this was intentional. So
it does say, I do want to point this out, that it does say when the paramedics arrived and lifted the body onto the stretcher, they observed grass underneath the victim's back.
Yeah.
So, and covered, and then he had snow on him. So, I mean, that,
don't you hate that when grass and snow causes a skull fracture and a gigantic gash in the back of your head and lacerations, parallel lacerations, multiple ones, exclusively on your right arm? That's some wacky grass, man. I don't know what's up with the grass.
Well, no, if he was hit from behind, which is what it seems like, because his lacerations, like from a motion, like a car running against you, going, a certain speed, is going to hit your arm. The glass that he was holding is shattered all over and stuck in her bumper.
It's not. Oh, really? How do you know that's how do you know that's the glass?
Well, that's what the affidavit said. So
no, it's not what they said, that a piece of glass was found on the right rear corner panel, and that's that one magical piece of glass, which we don't know what that glass is from, survived a 100-mile round trip road to Dighton, back and forth in a snowstorm, and that one little piece of glass just stayed on the quarter panel. Well, I guess she must have killed him.
It does say that.
She must have killed him.
Yeah. It says that that there was a piece of broken glass on her bumper, like a little tiny piece of broken glass on her bumper. And it says they located a broken cocktail-style glass in multiple patches of red that appeared to be blood in the vicinity of where the body had been located. The officers secured the glass and 6 blood samples. So that's kind of back to your point, that 6 blood samples is evidence.
Yeah, so like if you bled out on the front lawn like he did, he had a gigantic gash in the back of the head, there would be a pool of blood around you. It would be everywhere.
Yeah, but there's no snow beneath him. So like,
oh, it disappears in the snow.
No, there was no snow beneath him.
There's no snow beneath him.
So he's going into the ground, but no snow beneath him also means that he was out there when it started snowing, probably.
But I mean, that really is like, that's not a lot of blood. I mean, let's be honest, 6 drops of blood, like that is.
You see the pictures of it with the red Solo cups that they got probably from inside the house because they were having a party in there and the house wasn't searched. I wonder how much blood was inside that house. Why didn't they search the house, Boundless Millennial?
But there would
That
have
was going to
been
be my next
footprints
question.
too. Footprints going out there. Any blood trails from the house? No footprints. So like, when did they put him out there? If they did plant his body out there,
They put him
without
out there at
footprints.
3:45 when Lucky Loughran saw the Ford Edge sitting on front of the road. That's when they put the body out there.
I'm trying to. So let's get back to sort of what I know we talked about. And so, Boundless, to your point, why do you feel that she did it? What was her motive? Because I had read they got into a fight at the bar, they had been fighting, or do you think it was just accident because she was drunk?
I mean, I think it was just like a drunken rage. Like, I don't think she meant to kill him. I don't think she realized it because she wouldn't have kept calling him. But like, I mean, she had to have intentionally hit him with the car. If I mean, I don't see another option because of the way that, Jennifer McCabe was texting him right away. So like, she wouldn't have been in her head like, oh, let's like plan this murder right now as soon as he walked in the house, because for everything to be true, he would have been attacked immediately when he walked in the house while Karen Reed was still sitting outside. And so that means that everyone in the house was so organized to start texting him like, oh, John, when are you coming in the house? Pull up
What time did
behind
she
me.
text him? What time did she text him?
12:31 and
Right.
12:41.
So what time was he going up and down the stairs?
Before he got to the house.
Oh, what time was he going up and down the stairs?
12:21 to 12:24.
That's correct. So he was going up and down the stairs between 12:21 and 12:24.
But Waze says he didn't get there till 12:24.
The Waze does not say that. Adam Lally says that. The Waze does not say that.
Do we have the Waze?
No, because they haven't entered into evidence. They've shown nothing. Every single thing that you've been told is not backed up by a shred of evidence. But yet you blindly believe it. Why is that?
Well, I mean, the Waze is a more reliable thing than
Yeah, but it's not.
steps.
What about his Apple? What about his phone still having it was still being used after he had been dead or had fallen in the snow or whatnot?
It was moving.
Is that yeah,
It moved. The phone moved.
right. So what is the explanation for that, Boundless?
So, I mean, at 12:31, that's when it last moved. So I would assume, because if you move a certain amount, like if you move too fast, it's not going to count your steps. So he could have been hit after that, or that could have been the last time he was on his feet walking at 12:31, or someone else had the phone.
So how was he walking at 12:31? Where was he? How come Ryan Nagel didn't see him then?
Ryan Nagel left before they did,
Yeah, so where was he? You're saying he was alive at 12:30. Where was he?
in the car. He had to have been in the car.
So we're back to Ryan Nagel lied about that. Okay.
I don't think he lied, but like, he didn't say that he saw him get out of the car and go in the house. Like,
He said definitively in his statement that there was no one else in the car with Karen Reed. Definitively.
he didn't say that. He said he didn't see.
He said that.
He said he didn't see anybody else in the car. But
What's
like,
the difference?
But I also don't think.
Was he giving her like where was he ducking down? Was he hiding from Ryan
So,
Nagel? Was he
yeah,
hiding?
but from that logic, you're saying that he in front of him, the door that he's picking his sister up from, he missed that
Where
huge
was
guy
Ryan
get out of the
Nagel
car and
sitting
walk
in
in
the
the
car?
house, right behind their car.
No, Ryan Nagel was in the back seat.
Well, there was with two other people in the car.
Yeah, and they didn't see him. According to
So
Karen
he's
Reed,
just invisible.
If
He had
you
an
got-
invisible cloak on and went
if
inside
you
the house.
dropped it, first of all, it was snowing. There was snow everywhere. He gets out of the car. and
Exactly my point. So like, it's more likely that they didn't see him when they were
He
driving
gets out
by
of the
in
car.
the
If you got
car.
out of the car in a long sleeve shirt in 19-degree weather, would you walk to the door or run?
I mean, if someone pulled up in front of the house and it was a house that I was picking someone up from, and I saw someone in the car get out, and I would see the person get
Would
out
you
of the car.
walk to the door or run?
It doesn't matter. I
Would you
still would
walk
have
to the
seen the
door or
person.
run? If you were John O'Keefe and it was snowing out 19 degrees and you had a thin long sleeve shirt on, would you
Well,
walk
I mean,
to
he
the
was
door
going to a
or
house
run?
that he didn't know the people, so I don't think he would just run into the house. if
Okay, so he's
he
going to
knew
take
them.
his time. That's
I
your
would-
position. So Ryan Nagel's wrong, the plow driver's wrong, and John McCabe took
Well,
a lead
Ryan Nagel
control
is wrong
over-
because you're
that's your
saying that
prediction.
he went in the house and he was just invisible when he walked in the house. So Ryan Nagel is wrong.
So Ryan Nagel, okay, I hope that's the prosecution's. I pray to God that is the prosecution's
But how can
position.
you
That
how
Ryan
can you
Nagel
say
is
that
just wrong
though?
because
So how
they'll
can
get laughed out of court if that happens.
yeah, but how can you say that he didn't see him walk in the house, but he would have seen him in the car?
Because it was snowing out.
Okay,
And he
exactly
ran to
my
the
point.
door.
But wouldn't
And they
you?
pulled up. They pulled up about 5 or 10 seconds later. That
They were
gives him
right
chance to
behind
run to the
them.
door.
They
Let
were
me read
right
what this
behind them.
says. Troopers also interviewed Mr. Ryan Nagel. Mr. Nagel's sister Julie had been at 34 Fairview the evening of January 28th, visiting with the Albert son for his birthday. Mr. Nagel stated that he had been contacted by his sister asking for a ride home. His friend drove with Mr. Nagel in the front passenger seat and his girlfriend of the rear cab of his friend's. The truck was driving down Cedar Crest Road. He observed a set of headlights of a mid-sized black SUV coming from the opposite direction on Cedar Crest. And the truck he was traveling in yielded to the SUV, making a right turn on Fairview, and then followed behind him onto Fairview. Mr. Nagel stated that the truck stopped directly in front of the driveway to the home and remembered the black SUV stopping along the right-hand curb toward the left side of the property. He remained within the truck while his sister exited the home and asked him to come inside. He declined the invitation. As the sister returned to the home, Mr. Nagel observed the black SUV pull up an approximate 1 to 1.5 car lengths to the left where the flagpole was located. He stated the SUV's driver did not appear to place the vehicle in park at any points as the rear brake lights were illuminated. Mr. Nagel reported hearing no noises coming from the interior of the SUV. He indicated that as his friend pulled away from the side of the road when they were leaving, they drove past the black SUV. He observed the interior light on within the vehicle and a Caucasian female operator seated inside the vehicle holding the steering wheel, staring straight ahead of her.
Yeah. Where's John?
Well, he didn't say there wasn't anyone in the car.
Oh, so he just forgot to mention that the dead guy that they're questioning about was in the car?
I mean, he just didn't see him at all, so he definitely didn't see him go in the house.
No, but where was he? Was he in the car?
He had to have been in the car. Like, there's no other option,
okay,
unless he's
so
invisible.
Where was he? Was he ducking? Was he in the trunk, maybe?
Yeah, but your argument is saying, oh, because it's snowing, they didn't see him, a huge
but
guy
answer my
running the
question.
house,
You
but
said
they
he's in the
did
car.
see him in the car. Like, that makes no fucking
so why
sense.
didn't you see him in the car? Why? Explain to me a scenario in which a 217-pound man is not seen in the car when you drive by. Explain that to me. Without deflecting. Can you do that?
What's more logical? What's more logical? You pull up behind someone,
Can you do that?
don't
Yes or
see
no?
a huge guy go in the house. The same house that you're waiting for your sister, that you're driving by at night in the fucking snow and you don't see someone in the passenger seat. Unless you turn your whole head around, gawking in the car, which I doubt they were doing.
Question. If you wouldn't mind answering the question, that'd be great.
What is the question?
Where was he?
not
How did he
see-
miss him? How did he miss him? How did he miss
car.
John O'Keefe in the car? Explain that to me.
He obviously didn't fucking turn his head all the way around.
But he
You're
said he
driving
looked
by
in
a
the car.
at
You
night.
saw Karen Reed in the car at hands 10 and 2 with the light on inside the car. So how come he didn't see John? How come he saw Karen but not John?
Drive by a bunch of cars at night and look in the cars and see if you can see anything besides the person on your side.
Oh.
Sometimes you might see the other person if you're
If
really
the interior
looking.
lights on,
but,
I'll
like,
see everyone in that car.
He had no reason to be like, oh, who's in the car? And this is a typical like eyewitness thing. They don't see everything, but he would have seen a big ass fucking guy go in the house. Like, there's no possible way he would have missed that.
So you can't explain. So
Explain how he saw a fucking 200-pound guy not go in the house. How can someone miss that? He's going in the same door that his fucking sister came out of.
Okay, but
it's
you're
impossible.
ignoring the car part.
You're ignoring the whole part of the
No, I'm
fucking
not
200-pound
ignoring
guy
that.
going in the
Unlike
house.
you, I have a theory for why Ryan Nagel didn't see him go in the house, because he ran. Because it was real quick. Because he ran because it was cold out.
He must have ran real fast. He's
That makes
invisible.
sense to a lot of people. What doesn't make sense to anyone
That does not make sense.
What doesn't make sense to anyone is why Ryan Nagel would not see John in that car if he was inside it, like you contend.
Let's talk about something else real quick. A lot of people are asking why the home's basement floor was redone afterwards, why they filled in their pool afterwards. People are saying that's a little suspicious.
Yeah, and by the way, the dog is gone.
And the dog is gone.
The dog's
Correct.
gone. The family dog that they've had for 6 years. It's just gone.
Right.
And then they sold the house.
Right.
Yeah. Is that suspicious behavior?
I mean, you can make suppositions about anything, but if it didn't have, like, if
Is
the
it? Is
facts
this
aren't there to support that anything happens, like, you can bring up anything about anybody and,
so?
make
So
it suspicious.
shortly after allegations were made in court that the Alberts were involved in this, including their dog. Shortly after that, the dog disappears, and the house is sold, and the floorboards from the basement, where John would have gone if he went up and down stairs, are replaced. That's not, and the house was never searched. You
Yeah,
don't
So,
think?
that to
well,
me is a little bit bizarre. I don't understand why or how the house was never searched. That's another thing that I'm like, I can't wrap my
because he
arms.
never went inside the house.
It
But
doesn't matter if we went inside the house. A body is found on the front lawn, you automatically search any house. Michael Proctor was involved in a murder in a town called Braintree about a month ago. A young man and his friend were shot to death while sitting in a car outside of his mother's home in Braintree. You know what the first thing that Michael Proctor did when he arrived at the scene was? First of all, they put that fancy yellow tape. They cordoned off the crime scene, something that they never did in Canton. Secondly, they went inside the house and they searched it, because that's what you do when you find a dead body on your property. They did that when two kids were found shot to death outside of the house. They searched the property. That's standard procedure for any competent police department. But in this case, the house was not searched, and it just so happens that the lead investigator, who didn't follow protocol, was good family friends with everyone who was inside that house. And he never told anyone about it, never disclosed that relationship.
So this is like the Soprano family. They just like covered up a murder and dumped him on the front lawn.
Can
Like
we
that.
talk about the, do you think that's normal? It's a Soprano family? Yeah, they killed him and they put him in the front lawn. What's so hard to understand about that?
Because people can never keep, two people can't keep their story straight. You're thinking 10 people and there's kids involved.
There's
Or,
nothing to- hey, they never put the- you know what it is?
well, then why does
You know,
Karen
no, no,
Reed's story keep
this is
changing?
their entire story.
Karen Reed is the one that
No,
keeps changing
this
her
is their
story.
entire story. John didn't come in the house. That's it. That's all you got to say. John never came in the house. I don't know where he is. That's all they have to do. It's not brain surgery. John didn't come in the house.
Yeah, but someone would want to tell the truth. People tell the truth.
Oh yeah, they want to go to jail. People like going to jail,
I don't
mean,
think people.
right? Because they're all accessories to murder.
You can't get people to
but
stick
they
to
like
lies
to
like
do
that.
That's what your position is.
You can't get people to stick to lies like that.
Why not? Do they like jail? Maybe they like going to jail. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, all of them would not be accessories.
Every single
what is
person
the
in that
one?
house is an
What is
accessory.
the one thing that made you change your mind on this? What is the one thing? Because, like I said at the beginning, you thought that Karen was innocent. What changed your mind? Because I will tell you, it's a lot. I feel like it's a lot of sort of he said, she said. So there's got to be something that you saw that made you change your mind.
I think the main thing was reading the affidavit and just how she was looking for a body before there was even, she knew there was anything wrong. Like saying it to like his daughter and like all these people and just looking for a body. She had them out looking for a body. And then the cameras had her going over to the house where the body
Where did
was.
it say she was looking for a body?
When they were all in the car together, she's like,
They were looking for John.
yeah, but like a body.
They were
is
looking
what
for
she-
John. No, not a body. They were looking for John.
Like on the side of the road though.
They
Like
were
why?
looking for John.
Yeah, on the side of the road? Like why is that the logical thing? And she ran right over to his body? Like she's
Because
such a
it's
liar.
impossible to miss. Because it's 12 feet from the curb. There's no obstructions blocking it at all. Have you been on Fairview Road?
I
It's
just
right
want to
on the
read.
tree
I
line
want to
though.
read this one part about the phone call really
There's no
quick.
tree line there. There's
At
no
approximately
tree line there.
4:53 a.m., Miss McCabe stated that she received a phone call from Miss Reed looking for Mr. O'Keefe. The phone call was placed by the victim's juvenile niece as the Miss McCabe's cellular phone. Miss McCabe answered the phone from the victim's niece, spoke to her briefly, and the niece handed the phone to the defendant. The defendant sounded distraught over the phone and drove over to Miss McCabe's home. The defendant told Miss McCabe that she last remembered seeing the victim at the Waterfall bar. Miss McCabe then informed the defendant that she observed the defendant and the victim leave the bar together. She also informed the defendant had been seen them in Miss Reed's vehicle in front of the home. Then she goes on to say, shortly after the defendant arrived at Miss McCabe's home, Miss Carrie Roberts arrived there as well, as she had also received phone calls, blah, blah, blah. While driving to Mr. O'Keefe's house, the defendant stated to Miss McCabe, "Could I have hit him? Did I hit him?" Miss McCabe stated that the defendant also told her about a cracked taillight on the vehicle. So, Doctor, why would she say that?
Why would she say what? Repeat that for me one more time.
Why? Yes. So it says While driving to O'Keefe's house, she stated to Miss McCabe, "Could I have hit him? Did I hit him?"
She didn't
Before
say
she
that.
got
Who
stopped.
said? Jen McCabe says she said that. The woman who Googled how long to die in cold at 2:27, she says that. The
So
woman
that's
who would otherwise go to jail is claiming that the other woman that's being framed now said that very suspicious thing.
The firefighter said that she said that too.
Who's the firefighter? What's her name? Do you know?
Katie something.
Katie McLaughlin. Who's her best friend?
Yeah, but you're thinking that people
Answer the
just want
question.
to
Who's
cover
your best
up a
friend?
murder? Like,
There was a dozen first responders there. Only one of them was interviewed by Proctor, and that happened to be Caitlin Albert's best friend.
Yeah, it does say that here. It does say that it does exactly what you just said. It says that, well, it doesn't say that about their friend, but
Yeah,
that
they forgot to mention that. They
the
forgot to
cat
mention that.
firefighter, Katie McLaughlin, they did interview her. She indicated at approximately, she went in and said what time, all this, blah, 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 all that. But she does say, Miss McLaughlin asked the defendant if she knew where the victim had suffered trauma to her friend and said repeatedly, "I hit him, I hit him, I hit him." Why would she say that?
Because she's
She didn't.
experiencing trauma, and they've all convinced her. If you were her and you came across that scene, what other conclusion would you reach if you were Karen Reed?
I mean, she knew she hit him because her taillight was broken.
She
too.
thought she hit
Well,
him.
she hit something.
Nobody debates that she thought she might have hit him for sure. Because who would ever think that he actually got beaten to death and left outside in the cold by a bunch of animals?
So they
Who
just
would
got
ever
lucky that she hit something that night?
They got extremely lucky because the original plan was not to frame that, was not to blame because the 3-point turn murder is ridiculous. We all agree that's an absurd reach right
Yeah,
there.
but I think Karen
What do you
Reed
think the
said that
cocktail
because
glass-
she
the
needed
original plan
she needed
was
an
to-
excuse to be in reverse. That's why she said that. Because
She didn't say
otherwise,
that.
I mean,
She never said that.
It's in the affidavit,
Michael Proctor said that she said that.
but that's the reason she had to have an excuse to be in reverse, and she didn't make a 3-point turn because she never went by the temple again.
So she didn't make a 3-point turn. We agree.
I mean, she would have came out by the temple. She would have
Okay.
had to go by the temple again. So she didn't make a 3-point turn, but she lied about it originally and said she did. And because the temple footage showed that she wasn't there, I guess. I don't know.
So what is the total? What is your strongest piece of evidence that Karen Reed did this?
I mean, no one saw him go in the house. His phone stopped moving at 12:31. Like, I would say if there was more of a time frame where he could go in the house and like something happened, but the fact that he immediately was attacked and killed, and they already were thinking ahead, like, oh, we're gonna dump him on the lawn out there, put his phone out there, because they would have had to ran his phone out there almost immediately, right?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Did-
What does Brian Albert do for a living? He's murder police. Who's better suited to know exactly what to do in a situation like that than murder police?
Was there no rear view camera? They couldn't grab any data from this at all.
Oh, they're not showing it. They've got the EDR data. They're not showing it.
Are they
They could've-
saying
they
why
could've
they're
shown-
not showing? What's the reason? I mean, if he's subpoenaed?
Because it's a cover-up. Because what do you think the EDR data shows?
Sure, well, correct, but I'm saying can't her lawyer subpoena that or get that somehow from? Or are they just saying it doesn't exist? There was
No,
none.
I think they do have it, right?
The prosecution has the EDR data, not the defense. And no, the EDR and the
not
defense
showing
can't get it.
And they're not showing it, is what you're
They're
saying.
not showing it. They're not showing anything. They have all this stuff. There's this gigantic movement, and people are accusing them of, there's a lot of evidence that the state or that Michael Proctor and the Alberts were involved in a cover-up here, right? And this is bad for, if people don't trust the institutions, so they should probably get out ahead of this and say, no, actually, we do have EDR data showing that this woman backed into him. We have a lot of evidence. We have ring camera footage showing that the taillight was broken on the way home. There's a lot of ample evidence, but they don't show anything. Instead, they just say, "Whoa, we got something coming. Stay tuned."
I think I did see it in the discovery, though, that they did give that to them.
The defense does not have the EDR data.
I don't remember what it was called, but I thought I saw something about it.
What? Let me go back to the dog because a lot of people are asking about the dog. Doctor, you said that the dog scratched. That's what the marks from his arm. Did the dog get out and do it while he was there, or what is your thoughts on that? Where would the dog
dog's
be?
in the house. The dog's in the house. Brian Albert admitted in his grand jury testimony in April that the dog was allowed downstairs that night, that he was at the party, and that the dog is not good with strangers, and that the dog animal control records shows that dog sent 2 people to the emergency room. 2 other people who live in Canton had to go to the emergency room because that dog attacked them. That dog is not neutered. It was a violent dog, and if altercation begins happening in that house, and the owner of the dog is involved, of course the German Shepherd is going to protect the owner. That's what it's trained to do. That's what it knows how to do.
So the dog was protecting its owner. It was a German Shepherd protecting the owner, and then okay.
But even if there was a fight, like I would think that they would have just called for help. Like I don't think they would have been like, oh, let's like plant him outside, because a fight. You know, drinking fights happen.
I agree. It was a fight that went very wrong when somebody hit him in the back of the head with something, and then he starts bleeding out on the floor, which is why they need to replace.
But they could have called 911 and just got him help.
Well, at best, if they had called 911, John would be a vegetable today. Like that was their best chance. And you're right. Anybody with a moral compass would have called 911 in this situation. But they looked at this and they're like, wait a minute. We're going to go to jail for this. We're all going to lose our jobs. We have a lot to lose here. Let's blame it on that bitch. Let's throw her. Blame it on her.
Yeah, but how do they know that she was going to hit something?
They didn't.
And come back a drunken mess and be like, oh, what did I hit?
So let me answer that. The cocktail glass. Why do you think there was a broken cocktail glass next to him?
Well, he was seen leaving the bar with it in his hand.
But assuming my position, if you're me and you believe that this was all a frame-up job, why do you think they would put a broken cocktail glass there? What do you think they were making it look happened like?
She was drinking. Oh, sorry.
No, I think they were making it look like happened that the cocktail glass was the weapon, because he's right. How could they know? How could they have the foresight to know that she would later break her taillight back in the car, right? So that's why the cocktail glass was there. That was their original plan. Is like, they got in an altercation and she must have hit him with the cocktail glass, caused a huge laceration in the back of the head, and he bled out. That was and honestly, that's more logical. You know, they should have gone with the cocktail glass because it's a lot more believable that it's in reverse. Because where's the abdominal injuries? Can you answer that? How come there was no bruising to his body, no broken bones, nothing?
I think she hit him from behind, and it hit because his arm and his hand that was holding the glass. I think he also had his phone in his hand.
So that protects your body from being hit?
I mean, I don't think it does. And a lot of people are asking, like, saying, why was his shoe found later? Why, because the shoe, again, because a lot of people are asking, yes, they did find the shoe later on in the investigation, not that night, which is a little bit,
what was that night? The next night.
Yeah, but not the day. Right. But
a few hours later.
12 hours later.
Why do you think that she Googled how long does it take to die in the cold?
So, she said, it matches a Google search that she did at 6:24 a.m. or 6:27. There were 2 Google searches. And it's misspelled exactly the same way. And she said that it's because Karen was screaming, how long does hypothermia take or something? And so she Googled it after they found him.
Right.
And so they're saying that happened at 2:27.
No, they're saying it happened both times.
Yeah, but I just don't believe it at all.
Oh, so you just don't believe evidence? I mean, this is the theme here.
It's an exactly.
That Karen Reed did this. You have to take his position. You have to believe that the witnesses are lying. That the forensic auditor is mistaken. Everybody's mistaken except for you.
Do you understand what a defense's job is? They're hired guns. They look at the evidence and look for what they can use.
Yeah,
they're ignoring a lot of shit just to focus on.
Tell me one thing they're ignoring.
All of Karen's voicemails telling him she hates him and screaming at him and stuff.
Oh, how many voicemails?
They have that.
So there's one voicemail of her saying, "I hate you." So
after she hit him,
Karen killed him, hit him, and is like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to incriminate myself further by leaving a voicemail.
She's a drunk
saying,
idiot.
I hate you.
I think we know she was a drunk idiot that night.
Oh,
right?
yes. She's the idiot. She's college educated, teaches, but she's the idiot. Not
you can tell she's a drunk. Look at her face.
Is the smart person here, and Karen Reed is the idiot.
Drunk. You can tell she has a drinking problem.
Oh, how can you tell that? Tell me.
Is she in AA right now? Is she in AA right now?
What? No,
Is she
she's
in
not.
AA right now?
No, she's never been in AA.
She's in AA right now.
No, she's not in AA right now. You're making that up.
How did you hear that, Boundless? Where did you get that information?
I've heard it. I've heard that that's what her lawyer is having her do right now
Oh,
for her
so
case.
your sources trust me, bro. Yeah. I mean, this sums it up. This sums up the conversation that we're having right now. I'm happy this happened, and I'm happy that people get to see this because they will plainly see that all of the evidence asserting our position that Karen Reed is innocent.
Like the invisible guy that went in the house had 3 people in the car,
is
didn't
based
see?
on facts, evidence, logic. We have
Like the invisible guy that went in the house.
All of his position.
12 people didn't see a guy go in the house. Like that's what you were relying on.
12 people also didn't see a body when they left the house.
Well, that's a lot more realistic than a fucking grown-ass 200-pound man
they
walking
all
in the
missed
house.
the body. They all missed the
all the way in the corner of the property.
Have you ever been to 34 Fairview Road?
In the dark, in the corner
Have
of the property.
Have you ever been to 34 Fairview Road?
There's no street lights on that street.
No, there are street lights on that street. Have you ever been there?
Not where his body was.
There wasn't one far. On 34 Fairview Road, have you ever been there?
I haven't been there.
Yeah. Take a trip there. You'll see just how impossible it is for 12 people not to see a gigantic body lying 12 feet from the curb. And by the way, they all
but you're
drove
saying
home
it's
that
more
way.
likely
They
not to
would've
see a
driven-
walking body walk into the house.
Okay, so all of those people missed the body. Oh yeah, yes, exactly. So every eyewitness in this case just got it wrong. Every single one.
Well, I mean, if someone saw the body, they would have called the cops.
I'm getting
flagged.
violations for. I just got violations
Me
for
too.
both of you guys that you guys are arguing from TikTok. So let's take it down a notch, or they're going to kick me off. I just got 2 violations, which is ridiculous.
What?
But for real, I just got 2 violations
it
for
too.
one for each of you, which I've never seen before. This is interesting that TikTok did that. I don't even know. So let's just. I'm wondering if you guys want to take some questions from the comments. We've got over 1,000 people in here. Does anyone want to take? Are you guys? If anybody has questions, you guys can request to come into the box real quick and ask a question. I don't want to keep these guys much longer. Yeah. So it is a warning. They're saying calm down. I'm getting more from TikTok, which is okay. So I've kept these guys on the live for 1 hour and 17 minutes. I wanted to do this for 1 hour because I know everybody's time is precious. Does anybody want to get in the box and ask either of them questions? If so, request it. But if not, then I'll let you guys go unless you have something else that you feel, because it doesn't look like anyone wants to get in the box. Well, I guess all right, I'll do it not in the box then. Why didn't Brian Albert?
Mean? It means they come up here?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, but nobody wants to come up. So I guess, let's see. Why didn't Brian Albert come outside? That's a question, I guess, for you.
Boundless.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if he didn't know about it until after, or like what was going on. Like I have no idea. I can't like speculate on that. I don't know if he got the information or if he was waiting and it was a snowstorm and was thinking they were going to come up to the house. I have no idea.
Okay, we have a question. Brett is here. Brett is.
Oh my God! Hi guys. Oh my! I am loving it, guys. You guys have me invested in this case now. I am documents to read about them. So I know nothing. So I really don't want to like waste time asking questions. But from what I'm gathering, just explain this to me real quickly, or just one of you tell me really quickly. So basically, Karen, there was like a party at this house. Can someone just please quickly like explain? Because I think maybe some of us are lost who like don't know about this case. This whole missing the body in the yard thing, or missing the person going inside. All of this occurred around what time? Like, was it within an hour? Like,
It was
what?
with like minutes. So they were all drinking at a bar.
It was more than minutes.
In Canton Center, a few miles away. And
Okay.
so he didn't know, the couple in question, the one that died and the one that supposedly hit him, didn't know the homeowner that well, and they were invited back.
Okay.
And so they showed up, and he supposedly went in the house, and she waited outside for him for like 15 minutes.
Who? Karen Reed?
Yeah, so originally
Okay.
she just said she just dropped him off, and then she said she waited outside for 15 minutes. And
Okay.
She said she did a 3-point turn, and then I don't know. So that's what happened. Like no one saw him go in the house, and he was found in the yard the next day.
First of all, I would highly recommend check out our YouTube channel, Turtleboy Live. Right on our front page, there's a 30-minute video crash course explaining this whole thing because I know it's a lot.
I
Just
know
watch
it is.
that.
Yeah,
It
I will.
explains it all. I'd highly recommend it. It's one of our most watched videos. It's a but to answer your question, how long does this all take? Well, Karen Reed got there around 12:20 a.m. and she left around 12:30 a.m. The last person to leave the house was Jen McCabe, Matt McCabe, Sarah Levinson, and Julie Nagel, who left at 1:47 a.m. And so Lucky Lawford, the plow driver, went by at 2:30 a.m. and he reported that there was no body on the front lawn. An hour later, edge where the body would later be found 2.5 hours later at 6 a.m.
Don't you think it's weird that he said he knows it wasn't Brian's truck? Like, how would he know that?
Yeah, I think he's mistaken.
All right, Brad, is that your question? If so, we have other people who
I'll
want-
jump. I'm like, I need to go look into this because you guys have me really like, I'm like, oh, this is crazy. I mean, this is wild. And honestly, here's what I want to say though, because there are a lot of comments and you guys, the commenters in here, man, you guys, they're strong opinions. So
Yeah,
clearly,
very strong opinions. Yeah.
I will say this though, it sounds like because there is so much difference of opinions coming from a lot of sides, maybe somebody's lying. And I don't know that. I'm just saying maybe somebody who said they saw something or something, just from what I'm gathering, because not knowing anything, I'm like looking at it from the outside in. It sounds like somebody is not telling the full truth. And that's all I have to say. And I don't know anything, but it just sounds like because you guys have such difference of opinions that maybe somebody is not telling the full truth of what they saw. All right.
Yep.
That's all I have to say.
Thanks,
Okay.
Brad. We got another person who wants to come
Okay.
in.
All right. Bye.
Thank you.
Kick me out. Bye. Okay.
Thanks, Brad. So we've got another crime junkie here. Hi, crime junkie.
Hi, can you hear me?
We can.
So I have a question for Turtleboy. I have a question. Like, what I saw, they discovered pages of text messages between Karen Reed and Higgins, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like, why do you think they texted so much? Like, I know like the prosecution is trying to like destroy Karen Reed, right?
Mm-hmm.
But do you know why would they be texting like him and Karen Reed?
Yeah, John and Karen were friends with Brian Higgins. They knew Brian Higgins.
Oh, okay.
Yes, they'd had many conversations before. They knew each other.
Mm-hmm.
So messages between them. We don't know what's in those text messages. They haven't said or anything like that, but it's normal for you to text people you know.
And also have a question. So do you believe in that theory that the possible motive to kill John O'Keefe was because of the drugs that he knew that Colin Albert?
I mean, some people have suggested that. I see no evidence of that, and I don't even really want to go down. I don't like to talk about things that I can't back up and prove. So I know some people have speculated about that, but if I can't prove something, I'm not going to go after that angle. I don't think there was a motive. I don't think the plan was to kill him. I mean, that's crazy that they planned this. No, I think it was an accident. I think that a fight happened. It went wrong. Somebody got seriously injured to the point where he was clearly dying, and they panicked. Instead of calling 911, they decided, let's get the hell out of here. Let's cover this up, and hopefully people will think she did it.
Thank you. Any other questions? Do you have crime junkie, or if not, we'll ask you to jump down.
I just gotta say, the Turtleboy, you're very brave because I posted a lot of your videos.
I
And,
appreciate that.
like, I just gotta say he's really brave because he's the only one who stands up to those cops. You know, like I don't see people doing that, and especially like that guy Carl Dougal. That
Yeah,
was
that guy.
like, wow.
The local moron, Carl Dougal. Yeah.
Thanks, crime junkie. I will
Appreciate
say,
that.
if you want to jump down, if anyone else wants to jump in, we'll take maybe one or two more questions, and then we'll let these guys go. I do want to say to that point, Boundless, that I have had a lot of people who knew that you were coming on this show. Crime junkie, can you jump out of the box, please? Sorry, or I can get you out. Saying, aren't you, to her point, do you ever get nervous about that you're like standing up a police department, basically? Like, what, I mean, I've had a lot of people say he does have balls. you know, pardon my French, but because he's very vocal about this and he's not backing down.
Yeah. So, like, is the question like, am I scared or something?
Yeah,
Or
like what do you? Yes, exactly. Like, do you ever
no,
get threat? Has anything like that happened to you? Where?
no. It's funny that I'm like the only one that doesn't get threatened. You know, they go after other people. Michael Proctor's wife Elizabeth has called multiple people's workplaces and talked to their bosses because they commented on Facebook that they believe her husband is guilty. Nobody ever does that to me. I go out, people always tell me all the time they're going to kick my ass and blah, blah, blah. I go out in public all the time. I hold rolling rallies, I hold protests. Nobody ever shows up in person. It's all just keyboard tough guys. So, no, I'm not like, and people ask me that all the time if I'm like afraid of these people, and I'll say it once, I'll say it again. I'm not afraid of them. They're afraid of me. And that's not because I'm going to kick their ass or something like that. It's because my words are more powerful than their fists. My investigative skills are more powerful than any damage that they could possibly do to my body. And they know that.
Great. Well, thank you. If no one else wants to get into the box, I don't know. You guys aren't requesting to get in the box, so I can't. And you have to request to get into the box. You have to have at least 1,000 followers, I think. Let me just see if there's any more questions before we let you guys go. Yeah, I think most of the questions you guys have answered. Most of the questions you guys have answered. So, oh wait, we have one more person who wants to come up, and then this will be. Oh no, wait, Crime Junkie, you were just in here. Yeah, you're good. Okay, I'm going to let you guys it's 10:30. I really appreciate your guys' time. I'm going to give you guys both the opportunity to say any last minute thoughts that you want. There's over 1,000 people watching. I really appreciate you guys doing this. First, Turtleboy, that Karen is going to get off.
Oh, I know she's going to get off. She's either going to be acquitted or the charges, because there's a federal investigation going right now, and a grand jury has been impaneled. And there are indications that Colin Albert's in trouble and that other people involved are in trouble. And so it's basically one of two things that's going to happen. Either the federal indictments come first, in which case the charges automatically get dropped, or it goes to trial and Karen Read is acquitted in one of the most must-see TV court dramas of all time.
This is definitely going to be a movie, no doubt about it. And you'll be in it, I'm sure. Boundless, what do you have to say? Anything last minute? No, anything that you want to say for the people who are watching, the over 1,000 people who are watching?
I mean, I just think this is an interesting case. I think it's just interesting that people feel so strongly about it. I think, you know, her defense is doing something different than you usually see defense teams do, which is kind of pushing out the information into the public space prior to the trial. It's an interesting dynamic that they've kind of created. So, I mean, we'll see what happens when the evidence comes out, her phone and the black box from the car. And I mean, I think no matter what, if she gets found guilty in a trial, that she's going to get probation. I don't think they're going to put her in jail.
It's murder.
It's
murder.
Yeah, but I think they'll reduce it. I think she'll end up taking a plea. So
She's
we'll
not
see.
gonna plea, dude. We're way past the plea. You think that woman's gonna plea? Come on.
I mean,
All right,
from what the defense is putting up, but you'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. Doctor, do you have anything else you want to say last minute? So I won't keep you this
I see people in the comments saying, talk about the fake plow company, talk about
Yeah.
There's so much more that it could have hit on. I would just encourage anyone who hasn't is new to this, go to our channel, Turtleboy Live, watch the 30-minute video that we've done. We've been working on this for months. I was in Canton today. I got some more video coming out about that. So I'd just recommend you get caught up that way, because it takes more than an hour really to get caught up on all the details. And when you do, your mind is going to be blown, because I'm not a conspiracy theorist by nature, but I know I'm not stupid either. And what's happened here is something that should concern all of us, because if they can do this to Karen Read, they can do this to anyone. And it's really important that we stand up to that.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys both so much. If people want to stay in the live and talk a different crime, we can do that as well if you guys want to. Otherwise, we can end the whole thing. Go ahead,
Can people
Doctor.
watch this replay later on? I've never done TikTok.
I don't think so. I'm going to have Brat, who just came up, and she knows everything there is to know about TikTok.
Okay.
So if there is a way, I will make sure that you get that.
Because I'd love to share. I'd love to share it with my followers and
Yeah,
go.
I would love that. So I will do some research on that as well. So I guess they're saying I have to save it to replay it. I don't even know how to do that. So I will save it before I end the live. So I appreciate you guys both being here. I really do. I appreciate you guys both being open and honest and sharing your thoughts. And, we'll see what happens. Doctor, when do you think they're going to have, for people to watch, when do you think we should expect them to have a verdict?
I mean, there wouldn't be a trial for at least 9 months to a year, but I would expect federal indictments if they come before that.
Okay. So everybody watch for this. And I appreciate you guys. Like I said, if you guys want to jump off Boundless and Dr. Turtle, I really appreciate you guys.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. And if anyone wants to stay on and talk other crime, I'll stay on for like another half hour. Thanks, you guys.
All right. Bye.
Bye. All right, guys. You got to just X out of the whole. Yep. Okay. Okay, guys. I hope you guys found that as interesting as I did. And if anybody wants to, Brad, I need you to download and see it because I don't really have a clue how to do that. Does anybody want? I have a couple people who want to come in the box right now. Let's continue the discussion. Crime Junkie wants to get on again as well. So let's continue the discussion.
Okay, that I am so invested. Oh my gosh. Like I truly, I felt bad for even asking any questions because I don't know anything. So it's like wrong of me to even, have an opinion. I'm going to go watch that video that he told me to watch. And then I'm going to pull some documents. This is crazy. Can someone please just give me like a rundown? I know it's like so annoying, but like what? So Karen Reed is being charged with this.
Yes. So I'll give you very high level overview of what happened. Karen and John, boyfriend and girlfriend, were at a bar that night. Okay. Yeah. Drinking. There's video of them drinking. There's also video of them snuggling up to each other. So if, that's why people are like, oh, if they were fighting, why is it on video where they're like clearly snuggling up with each other? From there, he wanted to go to this other house, right? Which is another police officer. They're all cops.
Okay. See, that's why I'm like, what is going on here? Okay. See, these things are very important. Okay.
Yeah.
They're both cops.
So there were 12 people in that house and the owner was a police officer. So long story short, Karen Reed said that she dropped him off. He went into the house, went into the party, did the party. And when she came back the next morning, because she couldn't get a hold of him, he wasn't texting her back.
Okay, wait, stop right there. Okay, stop right there. Why would she not go into...
She said she didn't feel good. She didn't feel good. She didn't want to go to the party that night.
Okay, but then she went home?
Yes.
How far away did they live?
Not very far. I don't have the exacts right now.
Okay, like 10 minutes, a mile. Like, are they in the neighborhood? Are they like far away? Like,
no, they're not far away at all. I mean, they're all in Canton. Canton is Canton, Massachusetts. 3 or 4 miles. It's not super far at all by any means. Saying 3 miles. 3 miles. It wasn't far at all. Canton is a suburb of Boston. It's a very small town.
Okay.
And that's why people are saying, like Turtleboy, that it was a corrupt case. I'm not saying that, Turtleboy. I want to put that out there again. I don't want TikTok to think I'm saying it. This is their opinions. But so anyways, she's saying that she came back. He was outside.
What time did she come back at? What
5
time?
o'clock in the morning, around 5 o'clock in the morning. She dropped him off around 12:30. She came back around 5 a.m.
What did she say? Okay, so normally, if you're dating somebody and they want to go to a party or whatever, right? Like they'll find their way home or they'll stay at the party. So why did she go back? What's her reason?
Because she couldn't get a hold of him. She could not get a hold of him. She kept texting him and calling him and he was not answering. So she got nervous.
What time was she texting him? Do we know?
I guess throughout like most of the night. Yeah, that's her right there. That's Karen Reed.
Okay. Yeah. I've seen her all over. Okay. Wait, but she dropped him off. She goes home. She doesn't feel good, but she's texting throughout the night, like truly like 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. or like.
Allegedly, she texted him like almost 50 times or called him or texted him almost 50 times.
That's weird though. Why would you then wait till 5 a.m. to go back over there if you were? And again, guys, don't come at me. I don't know. I know nothing about this case. I'm just asking questions.
So she started texting him, someone said, and wanted to pick him up immediately. Okay. But she won't turn her phone. See, there's so much to this that I don't know a lot of what you guys like the backstory of it, like where, people are saying that rugs could have been involved. People are saying, a lot of other there's questions about the plowing company. She won't give over evidence, all the things. So again, that's why I was really appreciative that Boundless came on and that they both actually came on. Agreed to it as well.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so well that's sketchy in and of itself. If you dropped him off and he wanted to party and whatever and you didn't, you wanted to go home, I would think she would go home and go to bed. Why was she texting him all throughout the night then why not just drive back over there and go pick him up?
I don't have an answer for maybe she didn't feel good and she wanted to maybe she knew she was a little buzzed and she didn't want to go back there until she felt a little bit better. I'm sure she has a reason for that.
Okay, so she shows back up, 5, 6 a.m., something like that.
Correct. Yes, around 6 a.m. Correct.
Okay, and so what did she see
And
then?
everybody's saying that his niece was home alone. So that's they didn't want to leave the niece and nephew alone. I had not heard that at all. Robin's saying she has medical issues. So, yeah, and I would highly suggest you guys go watch Turtleboy Investigates. He's got a ton of great information on him. And then, like I said, if you want the other side of the coin, Boundless has, his thoughts and good information as well on why he thinks that Karen is guilty. All right, Crime
Okay.
Junkie, do you have another question?
So I wanted to ask a question to that guy. Like, why does he believe that Jen McCain didn't Google that? Like, I saw him making videos, right? Because like Turtle Boy and everybody else is saying that she made that Google search at 2:27 a.m., but the other guy is saying no, like it's wrong.
What do you mean the other guy is saying, no, it's wrong?
Like the Boundless Millennial, he was disputing that Google search.
I don't have an answer to that. I mean, we know that she did Google that. We know that it's in there. She also Googled how long does it take to digest food or something like that. She basically, he said, Google was wrong or something. Solid. You can put a Turtleboy Investigate. He didn't have a very solid answer to that.
So wait, so she comes back at 6 a.m. and then what? And then what happened?
She found him. She was the first one who allegedly found him outside.
Okay, so there were 12 people at this party when she dropped, what's his name? John off, right? John
O'Keefe, yes.
Okay, so what are the 12? So that's what you guys were talking about, the 12 people, and that's what they missed him or whatever, right?
They never even the police see. I'll be honest, like the more that I research about this case, and I never, like with Idaho, I've never said exactly what I think happens. I typically don't say that, but I'll be honest, like it does. I can't get over the Google search. Like, why would you Google that? I also can't get over the fact that nobody, if he was hit, like there would have been noises, I would assume, and nobody like heard anything. Also, why was his shoe found like the day later? Like it's interesting to me. I'm leaning more towards Karen being not guilty. Like I said, but it's there's a lot to it. And as you all, I mean, as we know before, there are corrupt people out there. So I feel it's very interesting that they never went inside the house. The cops never went inside the house. Like that's a crime scene, right? They never secured the house.
Well, I'm confused as to why, if she dropped him off at this party, everyone else is saying he never was at the party?
Correct. What? Okay, Turtleboy, can you guys jump down, please, again? Thank you. Oh, well, Turtleboy can be on. If you guys have more questions, you can, but...
Oh, you want me to get out? Okay.
Well, I want other people to have the opportunity to come up and ask questions, and Turtleboy's here. So you can come back up, Rhett, once Turtleboy's done. You can come back up. Hello, Turtleboy. Turtleboy, you're in the box. Hello, you're on mute. Turtleboy? Hello? Am I going to have to drop him? Okay. Turtleboy, request to come back up because we can't hear or see you. Yeah, we really want Turtleboy to come back up. Does anyone? Yes, that is one of his coworkers. That wasn't Turtleboy who it was before. That's like Turtleboy's like assistant, or he works with him. Correct. I've been talking to him like throughout this whole thing. I have to figure out how to save this video, you guys. If anybody has any idea, feel free to let me know because I have no damn clue how to save this, and I do want to save it. Does anybody have any other questions? Okay, here comes someone else who has a question. Brad, send me a message on how to save this, please. Brad. Turtleboy.
Any luck? Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Yep.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Okay. Yeah, no worries, sir. I was just gonna say, yeah,
We
we've
can't
got
hear you.
videos on this channel.
We can't hear you. You're cutting in and out really bad. I'm sorry. Watch the
Okay,
videos on his channel, I think you said.
okay,
Is that what you said, Turtleboy?
don't worry.
We can hear you now. Oh, okay. I think she said watch the videos on his channel, and I highly recommend that. Like, he's got really good videos on it as well. So who else has a question or wants to chat about this or anything else right now? She's trying to let us know. Oh, yeah. Go to the channel, watch all of Turtleboy Investigates because it will do things for sure. Does anybody have any other questions, comments? Do you guys want to talk about anything else? Where is the blood? That is a good question. The fact that they took blood like they got it from a red Solo cup. That's interesting as well, right? Like that's interesting. So, okay. Anything else, you guys? Do you guys have anything else that questions, comments, thoughts? Any other thing that you guys want to chat about? No? All right, guys. Brett, will you stay on so you can help me? Brett, whoever knows how to save this, you guys can stay on and I will let you up in the box so you can tell me. I want to tell you a couple things really quickly. I really appreciate Turtleboy and Boundless coming on today and having this conversation with me. I think it was awesome. I really, really appreciate it. The other thing that I want to say is join me again here. I'm so excited. This is like my week of interviews. This Wednesday, sometime between 8 and 8:30 p.m., we're going to be talking for the first time ever to Kirby Carpenter's sister, Casey. If you guys do not know the Kirby Carpenter case, please go to my stories and watch Kirby Carpenter's stories. It is another one that makes you scratch your head. He was shot at his home back on November 29th. His body was found December 1st at his house. And there's just a lot to it. No one has been arrested yet, but his sister, Casey, is going to be doing her very first interview with any media, I guess, any social media, here on Wednesday between 8 and 8:30. Okay? Kirby Carpenter case, please go watch it up in my stories. And I think that's all I have. Oh, August 18th, if you guys are following Idaho, big court date. We'll be talking about that, I'm sure, that night as well. We'll be talking about that a lot that night as well. So with that being said, unless you guys have anything else or you want to stay and tell me how to save this video, you guys have a great night. I appreciate you guys watching, and we will see you all Wednesday right here. And yeah, if you're not following me, give me a follow so you can get notified for all of my lives, but especially this one on Wednesday. October 18th is when the Idaho documents are going to come out. All right, guys. Thank you, guys. Have a great night. Stay on if you want to give me tips on how. I think I think I have how to do it, you guys. I have to be off of the live actually to do it. I can't do it while I'm on the live. So, okay, looks like there's still people here. Do you guys want to chat about anything else? I mean, I hate getting off when there's over 300 people here, but what would you guys like to talk about? My name is, if you're asking me, 716 Girl in ATL. Peyton, I invited you up if you want to chat about something else. There's always stuff going on in the crime world, so I'm sure we can find something else to chat about. Yes, Brian, you did miss Turtleboy, unfortunately. Okay, Kelly, I will tell you about myself. Thank you for asking. I have only had TikTok for maybe 9 months, and I came on to talk about the Idaho case. And I used to be an investigative reporter for CBS years and years ago, and I actually a man who was wrongly convicted of murdering his daughter. So I look at cases a little bit differently than a lot of people do because of that experience that I've had. And now I'm just here. I'm a marketing person and I talk true crime, not just Idaho though, clearly. I think that's my story. Peyton?
No, yeah, you've been rocking it. I don't know much about this Karen Reed case, but like Brad, I'm definitely going to read up on it. But I was just going to say, like, I'm so excited for tomorrow night.
Wednesday night.
Yo, you're right. Tomorrow's Tuesday.
Wednesday night. Yeah, Wednesday night's going to be great, you guys. The Kirby Carpenter case is, so Patty, Kirby Carpenter's sister, if you guys do not know the Kirby Carpenter case, please go to my stories. There's several videos that I have done about him. He was murdered. Kirby was murdered at November 29th at his home in Mississippi. They found his body 2 days later that Friday by his live-in girlfriend, who actually was at the house the night that he was shot dead. She is nowhere to be found now. She left after his funeral with her family and cannot be found anywhere. She also has Kirby's daughter, who is a year old, with her. So Kirby and her had a baby girl. She also has the baby with her as well. No one has been arrested for this case yet. There are so many questions. There is so much. Also in the yard, correct. His body was found in the backyard of his house. Kirby Carpenter, yes, that's what we're talking about. And
is his girlfriend
again,
not a suspect?
no one has been arrested. What'd you say, Peyton?
Is his girlfriend not a suspect? Like, are they not wanting, to get more information from her, or they just let her go?
We're going to talk to, we're going to talk to Casey about that. I can't understand why. Yes, like Melly said, when she left, she basically cleared the house out. They were not married. She left. Kirby was very, very wealthy. He owned a couple of gold and silver businesses. He owned a bunch of property. He owned a couple liquor stores. And when she left to who knows where she is now, she basically took everything with her. The only thing she left behind was the clothes that she wore to Kirby's funeral, which is a little bit interesting on its own. Boundless, you're more than welcome to come up here again if you have more that you want to say. I'll invite you, and that's up to you if you decide if you want to come up here or not. So that's what we're talking about Wednesday. Kirby's sister is going to be here and talking about that case. And she hasn't done any social media interviews. So please join me, you guys. Yes, Ashley, correct. His daughter would be we assume that that's who is in the will. However, she wouldn't get that until she was 18. There's so much to this case, Ashley. I mean, there is a lot. The interview will be sometime between 8 and 8:30 because his sister works until 7. So we need to figure out, give her some time to get home, changed, have a glass of wine, who knows. And then she'll be on here for the first time. If you guys go watch my videos, like I said, awesome, bros. I'm glad you'll be here. Thank you, Patty. If you guys want to know more about Kirby, you can look at my stories. I have a whole folder of him. And yes, you're absolutely right, Ashley. And from there, you can also go to Justice for Kirby on Facebook. They have a very active Facebook group. His son is with, so he does have a son, and his son is still with, the son is with a previous relationship. So that's where his son is, his 4-year-old, probably 5-year-old son right now.
What?
So
both of these two cases, are you planning to go live about Sean? How do you pronounce his last name? Doherty?
Sean Doherty, thank you for reminding me of that as well, since I'm sure I have new people on here. Another thing I want to talk about, thank you, Peyton, is please go watch my Sean Doherty file, because that is another case that you guys probably have not heard about. Sean Doherty, 12-year-old boy living in Northern Virginia. Both of his parents were active duty military officers in the Air Force. His family left him with his 2-year-old baby brother for about an hour and a half after school. When his sister came home from school, she found him hanging in with a very loose kind of rope. It was like the tie from a bag by his at the top of his swing set. And there are so many clues. In fact, and he was wearing his stepfather's clothing. Okay. He had a bag over his head. Sean Doherty did not that's him. That's the baby. Sean Doherty did not unalive himself. That's the baby right there. He did not. There's way too many weird things that took place at that house. One of them being his 2-year-old brother told his mom that Kirby's friend was running around the house chasing him and punching him. He didn't unalive himself. He did not unalive himself. Please go follow that case. We do not know about the SA yet. That is something we're still talking about. He could not have done it by himself. And his arms were pinned to his side tight with a belt. And he had a bag over his head. And there is so much more to this story. He did not unalive himself. I'm truly honored that his mom, Ramona, has asked me, as well as one other, Gianna, I don't know if she's on, to help reopen this case, to get it turned over from him unaliving himself to it being the M word. The case is now closed. We need to get that case reopened and investigated and found out who did this to little Sean Doherty, okay? So because of social media, because of all of you guys, I found 2 former homicide police detectives, retired homicide police detectives. One of them worked on the, Peyton, what's her name? The girl from Washington, D.C. Chandra Levy case. That's how high profile they are. Who have offered their services for free. And that's because of social media, you guys, because you guys helped share this story. You tagged people. You helped me spread the story. There is very little news on Sean Doherty out there, you guys. Very little. We're talking about Sean Doherty, proud Army mom. Please go watch my videos on him. He did not unalive himself. Why was he wearing his stepfather's clothing? Why did he have a bag over his head? Why were his arms pinned to his side so tightly with a belt that he had marks on his arm? He did not unalive himself. So his mom has asked me and another TikToker. No, the stepfather did not do it. He was 3.5 hours away. His stepfather didn't even live in the town. His stepfather did not do it. Neither did either of his parents. Huh?
Did he have any bruising around his neck?
Mm-mm. It was so loose that his sister who found him, all she had to do was use one finger to get it off.
Wow.
I saw that. I've seen the autopsy. I've seen a lot of you guys. They did prove that he was 3 hours away. Yes, Ashley. I've talked to Ramona quite a lot about this, and he did not do it. The stepfather did not do it. The father did not do it. I'm sorry. The father did not do it, who was 3 hours away. The stepfather was at a 5-year-old. The cause of death was asphyxiation. The stepfather, I don't think that the stepfather had anything to do with it, because I have talked to the stepfather as well. He is torn up about this, you guys. His 2-year-old, he was watching his 2-year-old brother for an hour and a half. He's 12 years old, and it was just him in this right after school. It was not a plastic bag. It was a bag that, I'll actually show you guys because I have it in my thing. It was a bag that you put like a motorcycle helmet in. And it was actually that string from the motorcycle helmet as well that he was hanging with. Exactly, Ashley. He did not unalive himself. So we reached out to Ramona because, as I said, you guys, I used to be an investigative reporter, and Gianna is very in tune with this as well. to work with the family. She said she's been offered a lot of people from social media to help her. And she chose us. So I'm really, really honored. So because of you guys on social media, you guys help spread this story, help get the word out that we now have two former homicide detectives, retired homicide detectives, who are working on this case for free. So that would not have happened if you guys did not tell the story, share the story, get the story out, all the things. So I thank you. It's from White House Black Market. So thank you guys so much for that, because if it weren't for you guys, we wouldn't be out. I'm trying to find pictures, you guys. That's why I'm sort of like,
Beautiful.
I can't do two things at once. It's really hard for me to do two things at once. But because of you guys, the lawnmowers, Jen, yes, I will. And he was put through hell before he died. The only person at the house with him was his 2-year-old brother that he was watching for an hour and a half. His mom just left to take his grandma, who lived at the house with him, to a doctor's appointment. She talked to him on the phone 3 times. And, the last time she talked to him, he said, "Mom, I'm taking a poop. I know what I have to do. I'll talk to you later." So, and that's kind of a fun, we sort of laughed about that, but there's just so much to this case, you guys. Like, he did not unalive himself. So I want to just show you a couple of things really quickly. His Facebook page is What Happened to Sean, SEAN. Yes, it was about an hour and a half, correct. This right here, you guys, is, let me turn my camera around. Okay. This right here, you guys see that bag? That string, this is the exact bag that he had over his head. This is the string that he used to hang himself with. That string, this bag. They got the bag out of the parents' garage. And here's what's interesting. There were 2 of them. One, the bag was missing, but the string was still there. The other one, the string was missing, but the bag was still there. You guys, come on. Like, it's too bizarre to me. I want to show you a couple other things I'll actually show you Sean so you guys can see he's like the cutest little thing. Oh yeah, they also, let me flip this around, found a handprint that belonged to nobody somewhere in the kitchen. We're not going to say where, but somewhere in the kitchen. I feel strongly that the landscapers need to be investigated. I feel very strongly that there were landscapers outside at the next door neighbor's house. And when his mom came out and said, when she showed up back at the house, she showed up with his sister. Tell me he's not so cute. That's the sister who found him. This is another interesting point. See this orange? Every day after Sean got out of the bus, Sean would come home and have a orange or a tangerine, whatever that is. And this is the orange that he got out of the refrigerator that clearly had a fork imprint in. Peach, you're right, peach. Oh my God, thank you, Jen. So clearly he was going to eat it, and something stopped him in his footprints. His Crocs that he was wearing were next to the garbage can in the house. He had like a sensitivity thing where he never took his shoes off. This is the house that he lived in. He never took his shoes off. There's Sean right there. That's what I was looking for. That's the baby, 12-year-old Sean. Guys, I can't, like, how cute. Sean Doherty, you guys. This is one of the toughest cases. I really need your guys' help to please go up, share my story. Please share this story. The more pressure we put on the media to focus in on his case, the police to reopen this case, the more chances we'll have. We need to get his story. Yes, there were a lot of other signs on his body, and I'm not sure how much I can say. So I'm not going to say, but there were other marks on his body. Yes, there were. No, here's the thing about camera footage, ring footage, Ashley. His one neighbor, the only neighbor that had a ring facing the backyard where you clear, so he had a low fence, very tight-knit neighborhood. There were 8 homes that could have seen in the backyard of his house. And it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon. 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay. The one neighbor who had a ring camera, who could in fact see inside the backyard, the camera was off that day. Why do I think the landscapers might have something to do with this? There is a lot of reason. However, I will say that his mom, Ramona, when she found out that this had happened to Sean, she obviously got back in the car, drove home as soon as she possibly could. She ran out, and all the neighbors, of course, were out looking, asking, what's going on, because they saw the ambulances and the police cars there. She ran up to the neighbors like, what happened? What happened to my baby? What happened to my baby? And the one landscaper said in broken English, I didn't know him. I did not know him. I didn't know him. Something like that. So we took it as he didn't know the person who did it. We think he saw something. He was in the backyard of the next door neighbor. None of the neighbors were questioned, y'all. None. The police looked at this case, said it was he unalived himself, and closed the case. So there's so much more to this case that I could get into. I can't even I literally cannot, this story makes me nauseous. And I really need you guys, this happened in Virginia, Northern Virginia. We've done that, Brat. Believe me, we are doing it. The investigators have all of that. We have so much information, more information than I'm telling you guys right now, obviously. Someday Ramona will come on and will tell her side of the story, or you'll hear it from the horse's mouth. But right now she's obviously not ready to do that. It happened in April of 2022. It hasn't even been a year that this happened in. And you guys, there is so much more to this case. Go watch my videos. Like I said, I have a folder on Sean Brady. I have the folder on Carpenter, because without you guys, we never would have had these 2022. Yes, Nene. We never would have had these 2 former homicide detectives working with us on the case for free. You guys, how awesome is that? And that's because of social media. Yep, there he is right there. April 14th. Yeah. No, the neighbors closed the case right away. And there is the neighbors. Yeah, they lived in a very good neighborhood. The cops. Here's what I'll say about the cops. Go to this, unless you guys just want me to show it to you right now. I could show you actually the interview that they did and you guys can sort of decide for yourself what you guys think about the cops. You guys want me to show it to you really quick? The press conference? Yes, Brett. Yes, they do. There are neighbors that do, and we are looking into them. Yes, there definitely are. Yep, there are.
Do you know exactly how his arms were secured by his side with a belt?
Do we know exactly how? There is a podcast about this, Danny. That's how I found out about it. Sorry, go ahead.
Were they just secured to his sides, like they were flat against the sides of him?
Correct, with the belt wrapped around his front going to his back with his arms down by the side.
How did they rule
Jesse,
that?
Please DM me if there's another case you want me to look at. If anybody has another, please DM me, because I definitely will. If there's other case, if you want me to look at that case, please just DM me. I want to find the press conference. The other thing that's interesting is, so they're saying there's a website, Patty. There is a website that you just Google sex offenders in my area. There is a website. It will show you all the sex offenders in your area.
I do it all the time.
I do it all the time too.
Really sick.
So I want to show you guys the video, because they asked, and I will show you guys this as well. This is, to me, a little bit interesting. You guys probably can't see it, but maybe you can. Let me flip my camera. This is really interesting. Can you guys see this? It's a little blurry. This is a landscape truck. Do you guys see that right there? The landscape truck? Can you see that? Peyton, can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. That landscape truck is parked where yes, black, parks 99.9% of the time, because that's the house that the landscape right across the street was doing it on, or right in front of, sorry. The day that Sean was unalived, it was right in front of Sean's house. And that's the only
this is
time.
a child.
That is the only time that it was in front of Sean's house. That's it. What'd you say, Peyton? I'm sorry.
I'm just so confused because maybe this was, like an older person, but for this to be a child of their city and the police officers to close it and it to be ruled, a SUA. I don't want to say the
unalived, that he unalived himself. Yep.
I mean, I want
to find that video to show you guys so you guys can make your own decision on what you guys think about these police officers. There's a lot more to it, you guys. There's so much more to it that it's actually really disheartening.
I'm gonna share your video, but also people need to make their own videos. This is just horrible.
Please. This is, just so you guys know, if you guys care, this is the swing set. He was found right here. By the way, his feet, the way that he was hanging, his feet touched the ground. No, he had zero mental health issues. Zero. His feet were touching the ground. I mean, I really want to be able to find.
And how would he know how to do that? Come on.
Exactly.
Very meticulous.
Exactly. Oh, I wish I could find that video. Oh, I don't know where it is. There is a whole press release. Let me I'll Google it. I'll be able to find it, I'm sure. But yeah, exactly. A 12-year-old. Here's there's a couple other things that I want to tell you why they don't think for sure that that he did it to himself. One, because they had literally just gotten back from a trip to Disney. Okay, they were at Disney for spring break, and he loved Disney. He was obsessed with Disney. And so he was in a really good place. The day before, I think it was the day before, it was either the day before or 2 days before, the family actually went and got him a passport because they were going to go to Disney on a Disney cruise to Alaska in August. So and he was so excited about that. They're he had a passport. We just were having these discussions. He was in a very good space, very good space. Headspace. So
you did say that he had some sensory issues. Was he on the spectrum at all?
She did not say that he was on the spectrum at all. She just said that he did not having his he had to wear shoes all the time inside of his house. He had to wear shoes. So let's see, is this it? I'm trying to see if this is it. No, that's not it. I'm trying to find you guys the press release. I wish I could. Okay, well, you guys will I'll find it and I will repost it. But you guys, when you watch the press conference, you'll have some. I would love to know what you guys think of it when you watch this press conference. Yeah. The other thing that Ramona said was he was a very private person, and she said if my son would have been found in his closet with this, or with hanging with his stuffed animals or something like that, she's that would have for sure looked a little bit more suspicious than him being outside in his stepfather's clothing. Okay. The other thing, you guys, that's interesting about this is the parents, not the police officers, found Sean's underwear outside of the parents' master bathroom. She gave the underwear to the police. The police said they were going to check it for DNA, and they never did.
What about the clothing he was wearing prior to putting on or prior to having his...
Another weird thing, the clothing that he was wearing, the clothing that he was wearing that day, we know what clothing he was wearing because he had to actually take a picture of himself with his homework, proving to his teacher that he did homework, that he did his homework. He had, so we know what clothes he had on, right? Because there's a picture of him that he sent to his teacher around 3:30 in the afternoon. The clothes that he was wearing in that picture have not been found.
Wow. Wow.
His
That's telling.
glasses, he was legally blind without his glasses. His glasses were off his face in the yard, and one of the lenses were missing, and they still have not found that lens.
I did find on the Facebook group What Happened to Sean that in the comments, a Jennifer Jackson, which I'm not sure, that's not his mom's name, right? His mom is Ramona.
No, his mom's Ramona, yes.
But someone said that the landscaper was questioned and told authorities he didn't know who did it, and that's as far as he was questioned.
Yes, yeah, that's about it. Yeah, that's about it. Yep, that is about it. Mm-hmm. Yep, that's about it.
You did it though? Like, isn't that telling enough? It was a...
He said he didn't know who it was. I don't know who it is. Now, what he could have been saying is didn't know who Sean was, maybe, possibly. Who knows? Peyton, can you see if you can find that press conference on his? I can't do both. I can't look. I know, Brett. There's a lot of questions about that. Like, what is happening? Like, what's, and there is some political ties to this as well, you guys. Here's what Cindy thinks. Cindy's opinion only. He was not abused. Yes, he was not abused by his family. Is that what you mean? He absolutely was not abused. Here is what Cindy thinks happened. Only Cindy. I'm not speaking for his family. I'm not speaking for anyone else. I think, and I don't usually tell what I think, but I am going to for this one. I think that the police rushed and looked at him and where he was and the fact that he was hanging and he was a 12-year-old boy. And they rushed to say that it was an unaliving, and they don't want to come back and say we made a mistake because we were in an election year that year. The sheriff was running again. So that's what I think. I think that the police made a huge mistake and they do not want to admit it. That's what I think. Did they even get close to his body? Who even get close to his body? So, yeah, I mean, EMT when they got there, they actually got his heart beating for like a second, enough where they actually could print it out, and they gave it to Ramona, like his last heartbeats on an EKG. But he didn't serve. I mean, he was passed by, like, at the hospital, they pronounced him gone. 12 years old. So, yeah, Yorktown, Virginia. We need to get this case reopened, you guys. We really, 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 his sister was coming home from school, and she the front door was locked. She didn't have her keys, so she was pounding on the front door. No one answered. So she was walking around the back to go in the back door, and that's how she found him. His 16-year-old sister, you guys, found him. And
I have a question.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
But like, if you guys got the mother and then, these former, homicide investigators, would you be able to question the coroner, the person who did the examination of his body?
Yes. And
if consent was given?
She's talked to the coroner, and has given some things that, the only way that it can be overturned is for the police to say. She can't say that. I don't think, because they said it was asphyxiation. I don't know how much I can say and how much I cannot say. I think this is okay for me to say this. I don't think she would. The lead investigator was in the room with the medical examiner when she was doing the autopsy. So that definitely could have, you know what I mean? Changed it, because I want to tell you guys so much more, but I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can, but he was pronounced 16.
There was no marks around his neck.
No marks. He did have he had no bruises. Like he had, well, that's not true. I don't know how much I can tell you guys. He had I don't know how much I can tell you guys. I don't know.
Yeah, just don't say it then.
I'm
That's
not going to
fine.
say much about it. They do not think he was SA'd, but I can't answer that either. I
The
can't
thing
answer.
about Ring cameras, so the Ring camera that I pulled up and you pulled up that they have posted on their Facebook page, that is the only Ring camera they had. Okay, well the thing about that sucks about Ring is that it'll only turn on if there's motion. Like you can't go back to a certain time in the day. That's so awful.
It's horrible. It's horrible. And so I truly believe that the landscapers had something to do with it. Like I strongly
Yeah.
believe that.
They were confirmed to be there at the time this all happened. Okay, what the
It was broad daylight, y'all. Broad daylight. Like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So his mom left at 3:30. His sister got home at like 5 to 5, and that's when she found him. Horrible. Horrible. It's such an awful case, you guys. And there is a press conference that I can't find, but I'll try to find it. And for, wait a second, I can't. And for that guy to make the statement, I did not know him. Exactly. Were you talking about Sean or were you talking about someone else? Agreed. And the fact that his 2-year-old brother said that Sean's friend was chasing him around the house, punching him. A 2-year-old would not, we think the 2-year-old said friend because, like they think everybody is a friend, right? So we think that that's what he was like, okay, everybody's a friend. Everybody's a friend. So, I think that that's all I have on Doherty. So if you guys would go check out Doherty, please go check out Kirby Carpenter. If someone else wants to take over the live and you guys want to continue on to that, I'm happy to do that. I have to jump off because I have to actually do an email for work. So the 2-year-old, yes, was covered with clothes on the couch, and the mom said that he was completely lethargic. In fact, she thought that he was gone too. He was dead. She thought he was dead. So I think that he might have been drugged, quite frankly. That's what I think. Because he had taken a 3-hour nap. He had just gotten up from a 3-hour nap. And when Ramona found him, he was extremely limp, extremely lethargic, wasn't talking, any of that. So we asked her, like, did they check him out? They did not give him a drug test. And the mom is like, angry at herself because she knows that there's some over the counter. But who's thinking of that when your 12-year-old son, you know what I mean? She wasn't thinking of that.
You're dealing with one. Yeah.
The mother was at a doctor's appointment for the grandma. So he didn't stay home a lot with his little brother, but when he did, he loved it. He loved it. It's such a sad case, you guys. I really would appreciate any help at all that you guys can have sharing that story, following me so you guys can hear more updates. Because I feel like I'm the only one who's really talking about, he didn't have social media at all, Patty. He had 0 social media. But they did take his phone and his Xbox, and they said they were going to do a whole forensic, whatever they do forensically on those. And they did not either check those out either. You can watch my story. Someone asked where you can find out. Becca, I have an entire folder of Sean Doherty in my stories up top. And like I said, I'm honored to be working with his mom to reopen this case. But I need you guys to help me. So please continue sharing. Please continue sharing, tagging people, all the things.
Petition.
What'd you say?
There's a petition too if you go on the Facebook
you're
page.
right. Yes, there is a petition to reopen the case as well.
There
So
are 36,000 signatures. That's insane.
Yep. All right, you guys. Please, Peyton? Does anyone else want to go live? I don't mean to put you on the spot, Peyton.
I'm probably not.
Okay. Please, thank you, Nick. Repost my video, please. That would be great. All right, you guys. I've been on for 2 hours, almost 2.5 hours. So I'm going to go answer my emails for work. Work's like getting in the way. But I just want to say, you guys, thank you so much for all of your love and for all of your support. And please do go watch Kirby's and Sean's stories up at the top. And join me this Wednesday, not tomorrow. You're welcome. This upcoming Wednesday, sometime between 8 and 8:30. Love you, Nick. To hear Kirby Carpenter's sister's first interview about his death, his suspicious death, his murder, I should say, because that's what it was. So
You need to
with
start
that,
a YouTube.
I know that's what people say. They're like, you need to start a YouTube.
Well, because it's more uncensored there. Because it
is.
would be horrible if you'd get cut off from like a violation.
For
These
something like this. I
victims.
agree.
Exactly.
I agree. So I was just looking to see what the violation said, but they didn't. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Please continue to follow and share and stay safe. We'll see you guys later.
Thank you, Cindy. Good night, guys.
Good night.